Vegan.
Yeah, right.
Currently, back? No, no. It's killing him.
Mana kau? Saya lagi keluar dengan apa?
Okay, well, because I can have it.
Macam ke? Sini. Sudah pergi.
How about when there's
Saya akan.
I think it is back on and I have
Ya. Ya. Apa? Ada apa malam? Ada sesuatu. Right.
Okay. So like,
From the 24. Is that the order?
No. It was an absence. I actually did some plans for TikTok Live. I did it. I had to read it, but I had to do last 2 days. Particularly this situation, this mental health. What do you guys think about that situation? The mental health statement of environmental problem.
Article 1. I don't know. I feel like on this one because that is getting up right for both. How's it on this one?
Testing 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so far that's the only one reason I found.
Yeah.
We still need to capture the so
Now, what if somebody come on? Then we capture
we will use this to capture it. This will be better one.
Hi guys, how are you all doing? Welcome back to my TikTok live. Sorry about the audio feedback. We were just playing around with the audio. We have a little bit of problem with feedback with the audio. So our topic that I wanted to bring up particularly was the situation with the central bank digital currency and how it's going to affect us in Trinidad and Tobago. Now, I'm not sure how much of you all are aware what's going on right now in Trinidad and Tobago and also the US. But the US actually started to roll out their central bank digital currency. They started as of the 1st of March this year. And that's the same situation that we have that's going on with PESH in Trinidad and Tobago. And they are hoping for a full rollout coming by the 1st of June. So in the US, it means that all of your pay, your salary is going to be coming through the banks. All of their salary actually is going to be coming through their banks. And it's literally going to be the Fed's controlling everything. Come on, Jamaica has been named too. ready to go CDC as well. The situation is a little bit concerning, right? Because the people who are going to be controlling your salary is the government, and that's the situation that they have going on in the states right now. But this is concerning from like several different perspectives, and you have to really understand why they are pushing so hard for the central bank digital currency. Now, the US is currently in debt, right? And that war that they are financing with Russia and Ukraine, that has put them under some hot water, particularly with Russia. Russia decided that they were going to jump ship. They were going to come up with their own central bank digital currency. So it kind of left the US really to scamper for preventing other countries from joining the BRICS. And that particular situation is a bit alarming because it means that for the last 50 to 60 years, the US currency has been the more dominant currency in the world. It means that they no longer are the dominant currency. And our currency in Trinidad and Tobago is sort of pegged to their dollar as well, particularly when they trade the forex markets, and almost every other currency in the world is linked to the US. Comment. Very concerning. Look at Canada. They were able to shut down the trucker protests by locking off the money. Exactly. Imagine you're a protester or you're anti-government and you're trying to stand up for what's right. And look at our current situation in Trinidad and Tobago. Imagine our Minister of National Security saying that crime is not his problem. And you're against that, and he said, okay, well, let's gather a few people and let's go strike. And all of a sudden, your salaries in the bank are being held because you're considered no longer a peacemaker, you're considered a troublemaker. Imagine if the money is programmable, like CDC. They could expire, switch it off, limited usage. That is correct. Now, I think that's a little bit far-fetched, and that's more on the extreme end of what is happening around the world. But it is possible. It is possible that they could put expiry dates. It's possible that they could make your money expire. It's possible that they could block you from going certain locations in the zone where your money could be used. But most concerning is most people are not aware that the banks themselves could actually crash. The US is in debt right now, and this central bank digital currency is going to ensure that the US remains within the economy, and also the US that is around the world within the countries that follow the US, particularly speaking about Trinidad and Tobago. Imagine our country has a significant amount of US, and we would like to swap that and maybe trade it off for yens or the Russian rubles. We can no longer do that if we adopt the central bank digital currency system. Comment. They need to make it so that you at least buy things online. Yes and no. I mean, imagine you buying something personal. Would you want these people to know what you're buying? I don't think that's a good idea.
Actually showing all these stuff when you can't run out.
Now the name of we have Passion Trinidad and Tobago, right? And the name of the one that's basically being released in the US is called FedNow. And they're hoping for a full rollout. And imagine pushing this so hard in Trinidad and Tobago that look at it in the States, right? Imagine pushing it so hard in the States that they want to roll out and remove currency, which is paper money, that has been there since the dawn of time. And they're pushing really hard to remove all of this in just 3 months. You could tell that something was up with that. I particularly have no problem with digital currency. In fact, I think digital currency is a great idea. However, the problem really comes in where they plan to adopt 100% cashless system all over the world. But once the US adopts this, which they are, they're not really giving the citizens in the US a chance to basically combat against it. I mean, you have people talking about it in the ground, at the ground level, but at the medium and high level, meaning in parliament, they're not really even accepting any kind of conversation whatsoever. They are rolling this out and they're just going ahead with it. Imagine if you didn't get vaccinated, you can't spend CBDC anywhere. And that is a real possibility. That is a real possibility. I'm not sure how much you all are aware, but now they starting yesterday, I believe that they are removing all restrictions with respect to travel, international travel from the United States. It means that you are no longer going to somebody wants to join, right? It means that you are no longer going to be hi, good night, how are you? Good night. Good night. Trying to get slow. Um,
It's good. All good.
I'm not sure what's happening. Good night.
Cool.
Let's see, yes. Good night.
Hello.
I don't know how to get this now. Good night. What? Sorry about that, guys. Somebody joined my live and I wasn't exactly sure. It was some sort of competition rights or something. Jamaica has been linked to reaching out to the CDC as well. It is really a narrative that the IMF is really pushing in the central bank. They are pushing heavily for this for all these small countries around the world to sort of bail out the United States of America. This really has nothing to do with any other. This is mainly a problem for the U.S. economy and the English economy for the UK. Apparently, there's some sort of thing in TikTok that you can add somebody else. You can like, it's a competition.
Oh, sounds interesting. We wait also. Everything okay with everything okay. On audio good. And it's not that's just audio and everywhere now.
I'm not sure what you have stated right now, but I think the statistics that we have shown that Tobago is about 60 to 65% of the population is vaccinated. Imagine that 35% of the population that wasn't vaccinated was allowed to travel to any portion of the world. Question: so should we start buying crypto or Bitcoin? We had a very interesting live last week, well, actually a couple of days ago, and it was with regards to Bitcoin. Now, I personally, I am heavily invested in Bitcoin. I have had Bitcoin for almost about 7 years. At one point in time, I even had like an entire Bitcoin. But I am slowly, now is not the best time to buy Bitcoin, there's a cycle. And the first 2 years of the cycle is actually 4 years. The first 2 years of the cycle is where it shoots up really fast. And the second 2 years is where it drops. And then it starts over again. We are currently midway in the cycle where Bitcoin is dropping. Now, within that period of dropping, it will go up, but what will come down with general trend will be a downtrend. So now may not be the best time to buy Bitcoin unless you're trading on short term, meaning you're going to buy and sell within today, tomorrow. Definitely not financial advice. I've had a lot of Bitcoin, and I used to buy and sell at a very significant numbers. But there are a lot of people in Trinidad and Tobago that are buying and selling Bitcoin. I mean, you just have to link up with someone if you need to get a hold of Bitcoin. See, the problem with Bitcoin is a lot of people don't understand they don't understand it, and what they don't understand, they sort of fear. They think it's like a Ponzi scheme or pyramid scheme. The real reason why the banks are pushing against Bitcoin is because that is basically competition for them. If you remove your money from within the banking system, it goes into Bitcoin. They can't control it, they can't lend it out. So you will sort of make the banks obsolete. Just because you asked that question, I'm not sure how much you all are aware of this also, but you could actually take your Bitcoin and you could put it into our website and you could get a loan back. A lot of people do that. I think the value that you get back is 80%. So you could put in, let's say you had 1 Bitcoin and you could get 0.8 Bitcoin loan and you could convert that to money and the interest is almost negligible. It's like 0.00 something compared to the interest you pay in a car loan is almost like 7 to 10%. The interest you pay in land is about 5%. And this is actually on crypto.com, which is the Chinese crypto website. Isn't it better to buy when the price is low? Yeah. The general downtrend, right? So it's like a seesaw. The general downtrend is where we headed in. And within that trend, it'll go up, it'll go down, it'll go up, it'll go down. And I'm saying that it's going to continue in a general downtrend for maybe next year. We're looking at almost October, November of next year is when we'll actually see it reach low. So it is low right now, but it's going to continue to get lower. I have followed the charts. I have a lot of paid charts that I use. And they give you what you call indicators. And the indicators will tell you, some of those indicators predict when it's going to go up and down. And some of them predict it before time, and some of them is lag indicators, meaning they predict it. They give you estimations where it's going to go after a change. Okay, what's the minimum amount of money to invest in Bitcoin? You could invest in any amount of money. If you want to invest $10, $5 US, $100. But for beginners, I would say don't invest too much of money in Bitcoin. It's something that you want to feel out. For a beginner, if I have to give somebody advice in Trinidad and Tobago, I would probably say invest maybe $100 US. That's a lot of money still, but it's a gamble. And what a lot of people don't tell you with regards to cryptocurrency is there's a lot of fees associated with it. I saw some video on TikTok, and there was a gentleman who was showing you where he went to the bank and he had this crypto card, that he had this cryptocurrency deposited in the card, and he went to the First Citizens Bank and he was able to get back money from that TT money. But there's so much a conversion, so the first conversion will be you have to put your Bitcoin into that card to transfer. When you transfer $1, $10 or $1 million in crypto in Bitcoin, it will cost about 30 US to transfer it. Now when you transfer it to that site or transfer it onto the card, then that company then takes a percentage of that. Then there's another fee associated with transferring. When you actually use it, they convert the Bitcoin to US as one fee. Then they convert the US to TT, that's another fee. And then when you go in the bank to withdraw, they charge you a withdrawal fee. So to withdraw $100 TT of crypto may cost you about $200 TT. I think in the course of this, people are automatically thinking people should know. Yeah. Bitcoin is decentralized, and that's bad business for the banks. Absolutely. The banks, they would tend to lean in the direction of thinking that they were trying to tell people that Bitcoin is a bad thing, right? But Bitcoin is very similar to Forex. And the bank deals heavily with Forex. They trade US dollar against every other dollar and TT dollar against every other dollar. That's how the banks also make money. They do a lot of trading behind the scenes. There are people, brokers that trade for them, that have a reputation. And they are taking a risk as well with your money. If the banks were to make a bad investment with your money, the banks could close down, you could lose your money. So whether you want to invest in crypto or the banking system, you are more or less gambling either way. So it's all about risk and the risk and reward ratio. Risk to reward ratio. Sorry. But crypto on the whole is decentralized, and they are really looking to change that. Yes and no, because there's something called blockchain technology, right? So if I send you $5, it means that anybody, it doesn't matter who, could take that information, put it into the system and see that $5 was sent from one person to another. So you can actually trace where it went. The whole idea of being decentralized versus centralized really comes in the software. It means that the app that you have on your phone, that is what they really mean when they mean decentralized or centralized. So I'll give you an example. So example of a centralized app that you have your phone would be like Binance. So Binance has customer service. If you send your money to, let's say, a friend, and the friend doesn't get it, you could say call a Binance, you could send them an email or message and say, hey, I sent out draws and the person didn't receive it. Can you help me figure out what's going on? That is an example of centralized. It means that somebody knows what's happening in the transaction. Example of a decentralized network would be there's wallets like, I believe it's like Exodus and a couple others. And in those wallets, digital wallets, you have your money and nobody knows. If you send it to somebody and it doesn't go anywhere, there's no customer service, nobody you could call, it's just within the app, there's nothing. So if the money goes and the person doesn't receive it, well, the money is more or less lost. Now, that's both a good thing and a bad thing, because if you're decentralized, it means that you have total privacy. It means that nobody could say, well, why did you send $1 million to somebody? Why did you send that $10 to that person? Nobody could question that. So that is an advantage, and that is what a lot of hackers and people who do illegal activities, they would tend to go along those lines, not trading on a centralized exchange. They want to go trade on a decentralized exchange, where they don't know who's sending what. And they could send any amount. You could send $10 million in crypto, it would cost you the same $30. You could send $1, it would still cost you $30 US. Now there are different coins like USDT and stuff within crypto that you could send for much cheaper, it costs like $1. And those coins don't fluctuate in value. So if you send $1, you will receive $1. With cryptocurrency, particularly with Bitcoin, if you send $10 worth of Bitcoin, you could actually receive $11. You could receive $6. Now the value of the Bitcoin remains the same. The person might send you 0.1 of a Bitcoin and you will receive 0.1, but yet at the point in time when you receive 0.1, the value fluctuates every second. So your 0.1 could be worth $10 or $9. Exactly, no one talks about the fine print. There's also feedback going on Facebook feed. So you could probably just share the TikTok link on Facebook.
Okay. Yeah. Before this man.
XRP is 0.01 cent transfer fee. Yeah. XRP is actually, we were discussing this sometime last week. XRP is what it's in Ripple. And that was actually, XRP is a cryptocurrency, right? There's one of many. It has millions of cryptocurrency. And you guys can make your own cryptocurrency in a matter of 5 minutes if you look at a YouTube video. But XRP was one of the currencies that they were looking, the banks, particularly the United States, were looking to adopt so that they could send money to anywhere for a minimal fee. I mean, look at the cost. It's 0.1, literally 1 cent to send money all around the world, and it reaches in 5 minutes. I'm not sure how much, not much people would have sent money abroad. Usually it's people sending money from abroad to Trinidad. But when you try to send money from Trinidad and Tobago to America or any other country, the amount of money that they charge you is probably not even worth it. You will send $1,000 and the person will receive something like $700 when you finish. Brooklyn, New York, good night. It's always nice to see people from some other countries. It's good now.
I'll drop you more. So when somebody come in, then I'll kind of wrap it up.
Okay, then there's the
There's the feedback between the two now.
New York, that's 2 from New York. Wow. So I think XRP is a game changer, cross-border settlements. You don't need to rely on USD. So there's a lawsuit that's going on right now with the Securities Exchange Commission in the States, and they are suing not only Binance, but Coinbase. And they are saying that, you just can't come up with a cryptocurrency and adopt it as a form of money. And that's what the whole lawsuit is about. Now, with that lawsuit, a lot of people buy XRP. XRP is like, if I'm not mistaken, XRP is like $1 or $2 US for one. People are hypothesizing that if XRP wins the lawsuit, or Ripple wins the lawsuit, that if you have one XRP, it could go as much as 1,000 US. So a lot of people bought into XRP, and it's still really low. I personally think it's a good investment long term because XRP is one of the earlier cryptocurrencies. They've been around for about maybe about 5 to 6 years, maybe more, maybe about 7 or 8 years. Good night, Anita. Out of all the cryptocurrencies that I have had, I would say my personal favorite is probably um, Ethereum. Ethereum. And the reason I like Ethereum is because you actually have a face that you actually know the person who came up with Ethereum. You can see him in front of you, you can read about him in the news, you know who that person is. If something goes wrong with Ethereum, that's the one guy you're looking for. But if something goes wrong with Bitcoin, the person who made Bitcoin or came up with Bitcoin, nobody could find him. And he has us almost like about 40% of the entire Bitcoin reserves in his personal digital wallet that has not been touched since the dawn of time. So if somebody finds his wallet, they could cash in and all of that. And that'll probably be worth, he'll probably be one of the richest men in the world, if not the richest man in the world. Which one of the brokers do you advise someone who wants to start trading go with? So I don't use a broker because the broker charges fees. There are a couple platforms similar to what they use for forex trading, and if you go into forex trading, they have their own brokers. The banks, I've had so much a conversation with the banks concerning this. The banks want you to set up a um, a business account. So if you receive $1 in cryptocurrency and you cash it out and you go to the bank, they would like you to declare where you get that from, and then they want to tax it. And the brokers take their fee, and then the banks take their fee, and then the taxman takes his fee. So a lot of people use brokers, some people don't use brokers. I personally have not had to use a broker because I don't trade in that kind of vicinity of scale that these people trade in, which is in the billions. Sean Hussein, the theory is Steve Jobs created Bitcoin. They found a white paper hidden on all Mac computers. I saw that article, and it was most intriguing because around the time that he died, I think he died in 2011, if I'm not mistaken, and it was a couple months before that the person who they claim was Satoshi, who was the guy who came up with Bitcoin. That was the last entry that he made. So I'm leaning towards that area as well. If that's the case, more than likely nobody has access to it. And the 40% of Bitcoin that is in that one wallet will probably remain there for the long time. I don't know how this conversation turned into, into Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is actually cryptocurrency is actually one of my favorite topics because I have done so much of stuff with cryptocurrency. So I have done mining to a very large scale, and it's a lot of computer equipment that you buy. It's the same, yeah. You can contact me in private if you want. Just message for if you want to find out anything. So I have had a lot of computer equipment. I was probably one of the first people in Trinidad and Tobago to actually do mining in that kind of scale. I had almost like 4 mining rigs, and they were huge, and they cost a lot because you had to buy the graphics cards, and I spent a lot of money. Back then, there was a huge competition for graphics cards, and each mining rig had about 8 to 10 graphic cards, and the graphic card cost anywhere from about 3,000 TT to 5,000 TT. Now, the time for mining has passed, right? So if anybody thinking about getting into crypto mining, now is not the time. In fact, I have scaled out of mining to almost negligible. So I also did a special type of mining. What was that called? Wait. Helium. Yeah, I had some helium miners in Trinidad and Tobago. So what a helium miner does, a helium is a type of cryptocurrency, right? And it's an apparatus that you put on top of the roof of your house. And you would have 2 or 3 in your neighborhood. And each one would connect with the other, and they pay you for using it. They use it something like a cell site tower. Like you see how TSTT would use their towers to, when you make a call, it will connect to TSTT tower, and then it will connect to somebody else. Instead, they were using your miners that you had, your helium miners that were on top of your roof to connect to somebody else. And they were paying you a fee. But those miners are expensive. I think those miners cost anywhere from about 800 US to about 1,500 US. I have, and I'm not using them because the profits that we get from them now compared to what it was before are almost negligible. If anybody wants to have one, I will donate it gladly, just to make some space in my house. I have three actually, and you guys could have all three if anybody wants to try to have it. The next thing that people don't tell you about cryptocurrency is cryptocurrency doesn't have to be a gamble. It could be a store of money. So just like how you have the US dollar, there's a digital form of cryptocurrency called USDT. And you can actually store your money in that. And if you store your money in that today and you put $10, 20 years from now, it'll still be that $10. Thank you very much, Michael. So if anybody has any questions about cryptocurrency, just because this is something I've been doing for so many years as a hobby. It started out as a business. It started out as a hobby, and then it went to built a business, and then it was making more than I did in my primary job. So, it was all well and good. But then after the cryptocurrency prices started to crash last year, and then it wasn't possible to continue mining. You're spending more money in electricity than you would make in profits. Primordial FX. I saw Primordial FX is a group of people. I'm not sure if it's Trinidad based, but I saw a group of people in Trinidad that was advertising that. And it's a group that shows you how to trade cryptocurrency. The problem I have with that is this group that they create, they don't give you, there's more like a WhatsApp group, right? And they show you how to start a trade. A WhatsApp group, and they show you how to start a trade. And they will give you something called signals. So they will tell you, okay, buy now, it's going to go up, sell now, it's going to go down. And you follow their signals, and you may or may not make money because the truth is, nobody really knows if it's going to go up or go down. The problem with that is, they have a saying, you feed a fish for, you feed somebody a day, you give them a fish and you feed them for a day, or you teach them to fish and they could feed themselves for a lifetime. That is exactly it. They will provide you with signals, and they require that you get two other people to join. It's almost like a pyramid something. I mean, if you have no other option and there's nobody else to teach you, I think it's a great way to start, but it's not something that you'll want to consider long term. Let somebody teach you. When I started trading, I found someone on YouTube. I think the name of the channel on YouTube was Trade Travel Chill. And this was a person from Australia. She is a licensed trader over there in Australia. And the group had like about 250 people from all around the world. So at any point in time, whether night or day, these people would be trading. And I could have traded by myself. I know what I was doing. But for some reason, when you're trading with a group, you could always bounce ideas off of them. You could ask them. It was a paid Discord group. I was paying something like 20 US or 30 US a month. But it was worth it because one trade, you can make that easily. And the way they trade is not like how the average person trades. When you now start to trade, you trade so frequently. You make one win today or now, and you sit there in front of a computer and you want to buy something in the next 15 minutes, you want to make another trade. They make one trade a day, maybe one trade every 2 days, just one single trade. And they're making some good money because their trading profits are almost like 100%. They take it only if it's 100% sure. And you can mirror their trades. There was somebody who was doing a live every so often. The person who owns the group, she would do a live, and you would see, you can mirror exactly what she's doing. And she was really good. I learned so much from them. So you guys should check it out. It was Trade Travel Chill on YouTube. Good night, and now Join is going to that investment good right now. I'm guessing you're talking about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. I don't think now is the best time to get into cryptocurrency. Now is probably the worst time to get into cryptocurrency because you see Bitcoin is going to shoot up to, I think it's now at about 30,000 US. But my personal impression is that I think Bitcoin is going to go down anywhere close to like about 12,000, 10,000. It's not going to happen overnight. They usually pair that with some emotional thing that's happened, some financial crash that will happen in the States, or something major, some major news will happen, and then you will see it just drop down overnight. Bitcoin was at 69,000. Right now it's 30,000. Just a couple of months ago, it was down to 18,000, 15,000. But it goes up and come down, up and down, and it's a general trend. And if you use the trend lines, you see exactly the direction it's headed, and it is still headed down. So I wouldn't advise anybody to get into cryptocurrency right now, at least not for the long term. If you're a short-term trader, you could make money whether it go up or down. An interesting thing about trading though is a lot of people think trading means you buy low and sell high, and that's one way of making money. But real traders also make money in reverse option, where they could borrow high and replace low. And the exchanges like Binance, they allow you to do that. So if something is going down, you could trade in the direction down. You could tell them, hey, I'm betting that this is going to go down. And let's say it's 50,000 for one Bitcoin, goes down to 20,000. And you say, okay, at 50,000, you tell Binance that I think this thing is going to go down. And when it go down, I'll just pay the difference. So you buy a Bitcoin at whatever, you borrow a Bitcoin at 50,000. And when it goes down to 30,000, you replace it and you make that 20,000 difference. Now that's just in theory. That it's a whole lot more harder in life. But a lot of people, they trade up. When it's going up, they make money. When it's coming down, they make money. I also see people using a card to draw out money here, a Bitcoin card. Yeah, we were just discussing that same thing with the Bitcoin card. Nothing's wrong with the Bitcoin card. Crypto.com actually has one. The problem is the fees. They charge you so much fees. So they charge you money firstly to put the money into the card. Then they charge you money to convert the Bitcoin to US dollars. Then they charge you a conversion fee from US to TT. And then they charge you a withdrawal fee when you withdraw in TT at the bank. So you may start off with $200 worth of Bitcoin, and when you change it in the bank, it moves up to, you get a percentage of that, almost like 70%. So you get like $140. And you recommend some good trading sites. I use Binance. I have used crypto.com before, but because it's Chinese based, I've used it for a long time actually. And my only concern with crypto.com is the customer service is really lacking. If you have a problem with your money in that, it's simply you have to wait like 2 to 3 weeks to get a reply from them. If somebody steals money from you, there's literally no reply. Binance customer service is on point, and Binance is US based. So I have used both before, but I would advise probably to do Binance if you don't want to start. And I have tried a lot of different exchanges as well. There was one platform I was using, and the platform closed down, but they give you 24 hours to remove your cryptocurrency from it. And thankfully, I was able to remove my money from that. I had a lot of money in there. It was a trading account. And they had a demo version of it, so you could have traded with pretend money, if you want to put it that way. And yeah, that was good. There's a saying though, and when it comes to cryptocurrency, when everybody's buying, you sell. When everybody's selling, you buy. And to be honest, I think everybody right now is looking to buy. And I think this is the time you guys should be, if you have crypto, this is the time that you should be looking to sell. But that's the goal on the motto that they have in cryptocurrency. One is very popular. Everybody is getting into the hype of it and looking to buy. I was listening to this guy, Robert Kiyosaki, and he's the guy who wrote the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. And he said back in his day, he made a lot of money with gold. He invested in gold and kept his money in gold. These guys are good to listen to, but we don't have the kind of money that these guys had in the beginning to start up with. And they weren't using their money to invest. In the early stages, they use other people's money. I mean that they gathered a bunch of like 10 people, and he said, okay, I'm going to make some business deals, some business transitions, and I need you guys to sponsor me. And everybody would have pitched in a couple $100 or a couple $1,000, and he would have invested back then, and he was able to multiply his money, and then he would have to pay them back. And that's how it went. But he never really invested much of his money, he invested more other people's money. And that's how he became rich. And when he says buy gold, he doesn't mean buy a gold chain that's a couple ounces. He's talking about buying a gold mine. That's the kind of thing. Well, that's what I mean by buying gold. buy gold mine. What are your thoughts on Forex trading? I tried to get into Forex. I can't remember what it was the name of the group, but it was something similar to what I was describing earlier. Somebody tried to get me involved in Forex, and they wanted you to subscribe to something in a WhatsApp group. You were paying them a monthly fee of, I think, $40 or $50, and they were showing you how to trade. But in the trade, in the WhatsApp group, they were giving you signals again when to buy, when to sell, and they were showing you how to, not so much showing you how to trade, they were showing you how to place the trade, but not how to read the charts. And if you want to be a long-term trader and trade a lot of money, you have to learn how to read the charts yourself. There's no shortcut. Because if there's one person, let's say they're telling you, take this trade and you win, and tell you take another trade and you win, you're gonna think, well, okay, well, I can double up and triple up my money if I double up and triple up the amount. But what if you do the third trade with them on the signal that they give you, and they tell you it's going to drop or rise, and you follow that, and they were wrong. And nobody really knows. No trader in this world could tell you that trading, that is direction is going with 100% accuracy. They all go in based on their interpretation of what the graphs look like. And that's what you have to learn. You have to learn how to interpret the graphs. Is there really a game to win Bitcoin in the Play Store? So I had somebody, I think the name was Kristen. So she came on the live last week, and she does this thing where there's a game, and you can play the game, and as a result, you get Bitcoin. Now, it's not a large amount of Bitcoin, but the theory is that if someone has already played the game, for example, like Candy Crush or something, that you could get Bitcoin from that, then why not? So she's not saying that you're going to retire playing the game and winning Bitcoin. But yes, there are games that you could play and win Bitcoin as you're going along. I personally haven't done it because I tried to stay away from those type of things. I played games. When I started playing games, I think I went 19 hours playing Super Mario. I didn't get up to eat, I didn't get up to pee, I didn't get up to do anything. So the last thing I want to do is start back playing games. It's very addictive. I think that's a record though. I've never heard anybody go anywhere close to 19 hours playing a game. I saw that there are apps to help with trading. Be a little bit careful with that, right? I'm not sure which apps you're referring to, but a lot of people put fake apps in the app store. I actually got caught with that one time. I downloaded an app which was a wallet to store Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, and I was driving, going somewhere, I was going to the mall, and all of a sudden I got a notification that $60 US had been withdrawn from my account. Now I only had $60 in the account, right? But I'm saying, I didn't withdraw this money. I didn't send it to anybody. I haven't used that account in months, and the account has just been dormant. How is somebody withdrawing this? So I don't know. I lost my $60, and it was a decentralized wallet, meaning that I couldn't reach out to anybody and say, help me. That I lost my Bitcoin. You get like the 1%. Not at all. I'm more like a 10 cents. I've seen a lot of people though. I've seen a lot of people trading in Trinidad and Tobago. I don't know how profitable they are, but if somebody's trading, I went to one single seminar where somebody was showing me how to trade Forex. And they're saying that this guy, they told you at the beginning of the seminar, this guy makes 450,000 TT a month. He's the only one in the country. There's none other like him. He's making the most. And I'm saying, in my mind, I'm sitting down in the audience. I'm thinking, okay, well, let's see some screenshots of your bank account. Let's see some screenshots of some of their trades, and they're unable to show you anything. It's all them pumping up this one guy to just give you the impression. So just be a little bit careful about who you guys go with if you decide you're going to try to get Bitcoin or cryptocurrency in any way from these guys. And there are a few people on TikTok and on Facebook that advertise cryptocurrency that they trade, and they sell and buy. So you guys can check them out. Yeah, I played a lot of games. My favorite game was actually Super Mario, and I played that for real hours. 19 hours was just one time that I described. You have played a lot of hours, and that's why I don't want to go anywhere close to a PlayStation or any kind of game. Not that I can. I haven't played games in years, but it's not something I want to start back with. It occupies your time, and it doesn't really pay you any money. Azad, how are you doing? Azad, I know you personally. Long time, man. So how can I Trini buy shares in companies like Tesla and Amazon? So up till about last year, um, Binance, right? Up till about last year, Binance had the option that you could buy shares in these companies. They were trading it just like they were trading it in cryptocurrency, and you could have bought that. But since then, they have basically closed down that portion of it, so you can no longer buy shares from Tesla or Amazon. I personally don't have any shares in those companies, and I'm not sure, but you would be able to access that through a broker in Trinidad and Tobago. There's a place in Port of Spain opposite, what's it called, opposite Hyatt, and it's a big place that they do have a lot of trading and stuff. I'm pretty sure if you want to find out, that'll probably be the place that we start. That you'll probably get some information.
Boss brokerage does it too.
Brokerage.
Say the boss BOURC.
Okay, someone said that Boss Brokerage does it in Chagonas. So maybe you guys could check it out. I can't vouch for them. I haven't tried it. But Trini Kind Heart, how are you? Good night. So I'm curious, right? What do you guys think about the situation that's happening right now in Trinidad and Tobago? Yes, Boss Securities, same place. So what do you guys think about the situation that's happening right now with the Minister of National Security? This thing is blowing my mind. I am very bothered by the situation. I went on the Trinidad and Tobago National Security website, and I'm looking to see, well, what is this man's real job spec? So the first one I came up with is that is public safety. So I said, okay, I just Google public safety. First article that come up is the article that where Hein was saying that he's not in charge of public safety. I was very, very concerned that this man doesn't even know his own job spec. And I think he's purposefully saying these things to anger the population. In psychology, there's something called gaslighting, where you know something is wrong, and you say it to provoke emotions in the person receiving the message. So he's saying it to the public to make them guess their sanity, to see if they second guess themselves, and eventually they adopt it as being acceptable. In South Florida, man, there's a free WhatsApp group in Trinidad where the guy gives chats and classes for free once a week. Well, anything for free is good, as long as you don't have to pay money and subscribe to something. It's probably a good entry level to anybody who wants to get into forex. Trinidad have no crime branch since, well, I guess Gary Griffith theft. I totally agree with you. I think the numbers don't lie. People can say anything they want in Trinidad and Tobago, but the numbers don't lie. 10 years from now, you can look back at the numbers and statistics and you will see what's really happening. And people have this way, politicians now, this current government has a way of saying something and changing up the words. For example, they would do a survey, right? And the survey would have 10 people in total. And I would say, okay, well, let's go interview these people and see how much of them have jobs. And they will interview the 5 people with jobs. And the other 5 don't have jobs. So when they produce a survey now, they will say 100% of the population that they interviewed have jobs. But that's not the truth. None of these surveys are really done by public institutions. Any survey that's done by the government has to have some fault. The government is going to want to show that they're going to want to make the survey show in their favor. Kevin, are you a medical doctor or do you have a doctorate? I am a medical doctor. I have been a medical doctor for many years. Why not do like Kawasaki and put together a group of entrepreneurs and innovators? I thought about that. When I now started TikTok, my first aim was actually to send out a video where I was going to ask people, entrepreneurs and people who want to be part of our investment group, to come together. And it wasn't so much that they wanted money from them. What I was really hoping to get was a group of people who were like-minded and wanted to share ideas, investment ideas, because a lot of people in Trinidad and Tobago tell you invest, but nobody really tells you how to invest. They don't really give you the breakdown. And there are a lot of things that you have to learn by trial and error. You have to invest and you have to realize that, okay, it's not working that direction, so I have to go this direction. So I really wanted to link up with a bunch of like-minded people. But for some reason, I don't think I ever did the video. Yeah, but I mean, it's still in the back of my mind. I think there's a lot of people out there with ideas, and there's a lot of people with money. And you just need to be the person that connecting them. What do you do for work? I am a medical doctor, but I'm a businessman and an entrepreneur. I enjoy doing the little side hustles, as you want to put them. There's some amount of joy that you get from flipping something and making an extra dollar. Whether it's $1 or $10, it's just a little bit of an adrenaline rush, knowing that you could sell a product and get back money. Whether you make $10, $5, it's just the adrenaline rush. So I enjoy investing. I am of the belief that government knows what they are doing. Reverse psychology. See? Exactly. And I totally agree with you. If you say something enough times, even though it's wrong, people will begin to believe it. And that's pretty much exactly what's happening. My concern though is that these people should fear for their lives, because they are ruining the lives of the people, the citizens of our entire country. You're talking about, it's hard to get 1.4 million people to hate you, but they are doing a really good job at it. It seems to be the only thing that they're good at, getting the entire population to hate them. And it's not hard. I mean, there's one thing about not doing your job, but if you're doing something that's affecting the people negatively, that's a whole different ballgame. People are reaching out to this man and telling him that crime in Trinidad and Tobago is out of control. People in Valsay are threatening to put up gates. They're threatening to get their own security. I saw in Felicity, they're asking for army and police patrol to come down there. Things are real bad in Trinidad and Tobago right now. And we just got some statistics. I saw somebody post something earlier on, and they said that we are now ranked 6th in the world in terms of our crime situation in Trinidad and Tobago. And yet still we are depending on divine intervention and feelings to help us through this. We need to deal with this hardcore. I think the people, well, I'm going to say the bandits, right? But the people who do wrong, the criminals in Trinidad and Tobago, they don't respect him. They really don't respect him. They don't see him as somebody who is going to come after them, so they don't feel a threat. And it's a free for all right now, because they are not too worried about who's coming after them. There's no way to come after them. Do you know the names of any fake applications when it comes to cryptocurrency? All of them, be very careful, because they will steal the logo. The one I got caught with, they had stolen the logo and they put it on the App Store, and you could have downloaded it just like any other app, and it had reviews. So I thought it was the real thing. In fact, I used that app, and I had a lot of money in that app. I used it in the beginning, and it was quite fine. It worked well for almost 2 years, and then I left it dormant with about $60 US in it. And one day, I just got a message while I was going to the mall that somebody just withdrawn, that I had just withdrawn $60. I don't know. He was the only COP that gave us updates to what he was doing concerning crime. Transparency. That's exactly it. And that's what we need in Trinidad and Tobago. Whether the economy is going good or going bad, I think if they give the people, all people of Trinidad and Tobago, you give them updates and you tell them, hey, this is what's happening. Nothing is wrong for that. I have no problem if, let's say, the finance minister come out and say, hey, our economy is in a mess right now. These are the steps we have to take. We have to increase taxes. I would say, okay, the man doing what he have to do. But they almost doing it in a way that it makes a mockery of the citizens. I don't know how much of you all would have seen the video where the finance minister was sitting on a chair, a white chair, and he was being interviewed by a person, and he was saying, well, I raised the price of gas 7 times, and they didn't riot yet, so I might just do it again. I mean, that is like making a mockery of the people, man. You know, people's lives depend on, you see, they don't even pay their own gas bill. All of their situation with the vehicles that they use are all government vehicles. They probably haven't paid their own gas bill in many, many years. So they don't know what the average person ground is going through. I give an example. You know, when we going through traffic, when citizens of Trinidad and Tobago going through traffic, these people don't have to go through traffic. They have a police car escorting them from point A to point B. When we have to pay our situation with gas and gas prices, they don't have to pay that either, because they get a vehicle allowance. You know, when we have to pay taxes on our dollar and every dollar we spend, they have a tax-free lifestyle. When we have to deal with our situation with education and unemployment, all of these people send their children abroad to study. And if they want to deal with unemployment, they just pick up the phone because they're a minister and they make a call. And that's how it goes. So they are seriously out of touch with what's happening at the ground level. How do you find people to invest serious money into a business idea? I would say the first thing to do is first you have to come up with the idea. And it have to be a solid idea. And you have to do a PowerPoint. And you have to network. There are lots of networking conventions that happen in Trinidad. And this might be the ideal place to link up with someone. I'm an aspiring product developer in Peter. Look right there, the very person below you is proposing a business idea to you. As a medical doctor, what are your thoughts about the COVID vaccine? I have taken the vaccine. I was actually one of the first people in the country to get the vaccine because at that point in time, there were a few COVID patients and we were dealing with them one on one. So we more or less had to get the vaccine because it wasn't mandatory, but at that point in time, you weren't sure how bad COVID was. So the better thing to do would have been just to take the vaccine and deal with it after. But I have had no side effects from the vaccines. Everybody I know took the vaccine and they haven't had any side effects. The vaccine is not a long-term fix. It is buying you enough time to build up a resistance while hoping that COVID goes away. So I personally am in support of the vaccine, but I know not everybody has that same concern. And I also know there are a lot of ministers who didn't take the vaccine, particularly, you know, people in the health sector. Since 2019, I've been trying to get partners to develop my project concepts to provide good government business people. Yeah, I remember we had this conversation. I think we were messaging and you were developing an app to assist with voting. We definitely need that in Trinidad and Tobago. Something that can be hacked though. Respect who? Police sharing tickets. It always amazes me when you open the papers and you see, well, okay, well, for a couple of months they gave out 2,000 tickets and they gave out 5,000 tickets. I had a conversation with a police officer and he told me, I'm not sure how true this is, right? So this is just he say, she say. And he told me that on certain days they would go into the police station and they would have a conversation with their boss and the boss would say, okay, well, they need to give out X amount of tickets today. And once you fill your quota, that, you could go home early. So they would just go outside there and they would just give them tickets left, right, and center. They fill their quota to show that they're doing something. And that's the end of that. Again, I can't vouch for that. I don't work in the police service. This is just something I heard, but I don't know. I feel like I believe it a little bit. Who is the Minister of National Security again? I was talking to somebody about that today, right? If we have a Minister of National Security, and this man has been in several different ministries before, and it's like a bad apple, right? So you have a bad apple and you take him out from one ministry and you put him in another ministry and he's still a bad apple. Do you think pushing him to another ministry will make him into a good apple? I don't think so. My personal opinion is they need to give this man a retirement package and visa for whatever they call it. And let him go spend some time with his grandkids something. He has done enough for our country. I think even if we raise a fund, right? I think we can have a fundraising for him on TikTok, and any amount of money we raise, whether it's $1 per citizen, I'm pretty sure if we say $1 per citizen, people will be so inclined to pay $10 that we probably raise $10 million for this man. And we will give him that 10 million that we raise from TikTok, and yeah, we get him to retire. We will pay him to retire. I will, if he agrees, I will pilot that project to raise as much money as I could to help him retire gracefully. And then he will be happy and we will be happy. And we can give somebody who who's better able to run the country. One is a road infrastructure upgrade to reduce deaths, and other is a theme park attraction. No, I remember we were talking about another one. We were talking particularly about the app that you were building to do something with voting. There was something about voting. Maybe you could remind us. Yeah. Yeah, that situation where they got rid of Gary Griffith, they knew exactly what they were doing. They just had to find something to pin on him to get him out. The numbers don't lie, though. People would say anything they want on any platform they want and get away with it. But you have to look at the numbers. Imagine somebody placing sixth in the Police Service Commission, going up for Commissioner of Police, they're placing sixth and fifth, and they're the ones getting the job. There's no level of objective evidence. It's all subjective. It's I think they place sixth, but they're the better person. In which case, why are you having a meeting in the first place? Might as well just give it. But they want to show the public on paper that they are doing something quote unquote fair. But it's not really fair, it's a subjective way of choosing who you want. That's why I also had a problem with particularly the education system in Trinidad and Tobago when they took off the showing of the people who placed first in the SCA exam. Now, I don't believe that they should publish all the results, right? Because there are a lot of people that fail and they don't want their name published or whatever results. I support that. But there's a certain group of people who write SCA and their parents work really hard with them to get them that level of recognition. And I think they deserve that. If your child places first in SCA, why not publish your name? But there was one incident that took place about 2 years ago where they published the wrong name. And the parent had actually sued the ministry and they won. And since then, they decided, okay, well, we don't want to get sued again, so we're not going to publish the names. So Peter paid for Paul and Paul paid for all in that situation. The finance minister loves flying in people's face. I'm not sure if they're pushing for protests. I guess you mean lying, right? Finance minister loves lying in people's face. Yeah. I think this man, I posted a video today. I'm not sure how much of you all would have seen that, but from the video I posted today, you could read this man's body language, the way he speaks, and how charismatic, that's not the word I'm looking for, but how charismatic he appears, right? It's almost like it's a well-rehearsed situation where he knows that he's going to get bashed. He knows that the public is against him. And he's almost doing that to show the public, hey, you guys, I can say whatever I want and get away. It is what it is. I mean, they will only, I don't think they will be in power for much longer. We're not sure who will be in power, but I don't think they will be in power for much longer. So I suppose if you run for election, you'll make changes so parliamentarians no longer enjoy it. I am actually, I think in my situation, I have come from the ground up, right? And I've seen what the world has to offer you without having handouts from anybody on the top. So I know the struggles that the people on the ground go through. I don't want anybody else going through that. And even more concerning is that I also have kids. And when I leave here, my greatest concern is when I leave here, that I don't know who's going to take care of them, if they're going to be in proper hands. I'm left with no other choice but to change the country for the sake of my children. I honestly believe that this government don't care because they have no better alternative. I think that's how a lot of people feel. They feel like this government doesn't care, and they feel like the other government is a lesser evil to some extent. So for them, it was really the lesser of two evils. But I'll tell you something, there are a lot of smaller parties that are coming up and about. And it's not just about the parties. I think a lot of people need to get involved in politics. And if you as a young person can't go to one of these parties and say, hey, I want to get involved in politics and involved in changing things around the country and get recognition for that, meaning that they allow you to make a contribution and they put you in a position that you could help the country, then those are not the people that you want to be associated with. You want to go with a party that will provide opportunities for the younger people of Trinidad and Tobago. These other parties, the ones that are in government right now, and the alternative, they haven't really provided that level of reach to the young people in Trinidad and Tobago. So people are frustrated. They no longer want to just deal with people laugh, right? So when they make the jokes about who do this and who do that, they laugh and they have a good joke and they clap. But at the end of the day, they go home and the issues that they were facing before they came to that meeting was still the same. For Trinidad and Tobago to be great again, poverty have to be eradicated. Heavier investment in education as a country. I partially agree with that. It's a good point you made, but look at the situation that we had, right? So about 20 years ago, we had a bottleneck at the A level situation. So a lot of people got up to A levels or O levels, and that's all they could have reached because nobody could have afforded to go to university. So there was a bottleneck at A levels. But now the bottleneck that we have is when the gate system came on board, everybody jumped on it, and now everybody has a degree. And now there's a bottleneck after the degree. What do you do after a degree? So they got us up to the level that we were able to get degrees, but then nobody did any successive planning to do anything about it. So now we have a lot of people that have degrees but are jobless. So we need to get rid of the bottleneck there. And in order to get the bottleneck there, we need to do a survey of the amount of jobs we have in Trinidad and Tobago and the amount of people we have in respective jobs and the amount of vacancies. This could all be done online very, very easily, where you would have a matching system where you have somebody looking for a job and somebody looking to hire somebody for a job. Very easy. It's done online. Or if you go on any American website and you just type in the word job, it pops up. It's all be done. I mean, we have a whole digital economy a digital ministry that does absolutely nothing. Imagine the Ministry of Digitalization has a website and that's not working. Says out. Is anyone in this country? Is anyone safe in this country? I'm terrified to even walk through Port of Spain. Yeah, things really bad. I went to get a haircut about a couple of months ago, probably about a year ago. And after I'm finished, the barber asked, he said, if I could wait on him so that both of us could leave together. And only then it really struck me how bad the situation of crime was. Because imagine you're a business person and you're saying you're afraid to close up if nobody's there, you're afraid to open the extra hour because you're afraid to get robbed. I went to St. Lucia with a group of people, and I was there with somebody who was from St. Lucia, and he's taking me around the place and he's showing me, the houses and the cars, and they don't lock their doors in St. Lucia. They don't lock their car doors. He took me to the city, and he showed me. He said, "Look at the police officers. What do you notice?" So I'm looking around and I'm seeing these guys in short pants. So I start to laugh. He's like, "No, look closer." So then I look closer. I'm seeing the guys in battle. So I say, "Battle? Like who uses a battle? Like where are the guns?" He said, "Exactly. Their murder rate is 1 per year, sometimes 2 per year. And if they have 2 per year, they're ready to shut down the country. That's just simply not something that they're accustomed to." I think he should move over relax. I think so too. Gary Griffith was doing a great job and he ruffled some feathers. And that's exactly it. He ruffled the wrong people. He went after the ministers, relatives and whatnot. He just didn't care. Crime had to come down at any cost. And he ruffled the people that was higher up to him, and that's what happened. That's my personal belief. So, do you have any political ambitions? I am actually involved in politics. I don't like to talk about politics, but I am actually involved in a political party. I am involved in the National Transformation Alliance, which is the NTA. And this is the same party that Gary Griffith is the political leader of. But a lot of the videos I post, I try not to make them politics because, I just issues. We deal with issues. But I try not to call party name and people that are involved because those things, it doesn't really change how we're going to deal with the situation in Trinidad and Tobago. I invite anybody from any political party, doesn't matter where, to have conversations with my lives because I just want to hear the issues and how we're going to deal with it. The minute you mention a party name, people start to back off. Well, that's his only intention. His only intention is to get votes, and that's not true. We need legal firearms to protect ourselves. I agree with you 100%. You know what bothers me? How come all these ministers have firearm license and all their relatives have firearm license, but they don't want other people to have firearm license? That doesn't make sense. And we have so much of people. You can't protect the people. You have the people in Valsane that are ready to lock down. They put a gate and hire their own security because they have the money. But not the rest of the country. The rest of the country don't have that kind of money. We have people in Felicity calling for the army to come down here. They don't have that kind of money. But you're not providing them with the opportunity to protect themselves. So It's just going to be a matter of time before the people become rebellious in Trinidad and Tobago and decide to take things in their own hand. Now, I know it's not in our culture to be rebellious, but I think it's coming one way or the other. When somebody's back is up against a wall, particularly with crime in Trinidad and Tobago, when people you know personally are dying, then you don't really have a choice. You're willing to stand up for whatever cause. And it's unfortunate that it may have to reach that situation before somebody do something about it. A lot of people might say, well, why don't we protest? Why don't we shut down the country? Why don't we, take our own measures? That is twofold, right? Because yes, you will prove a point. You'll prove a point that this current government is incompetent and they can't manage the country better. But you're going to destabilize the country. And on a world map, a country that has political unrest, they push them down to the bottom. They don't really get the same opportunities that the rest of the countries get. We get bad publicity. So it's a double-edged sword. And that is why a lot of people haven't taken that step yet. Make politicians travel and use public healthcare. I totally agree with you. Not that they should use healthcare, stuff all the time, but they should use it on occasions. I think it was the minister in Sweden. I saw the man jumping in the train with his bicycle. And the bicycle was a nice little fold-up bicycle. He folded his bicycle and he went into the train and he come out and he just ride to Parliament like normal. Like, no big deal. I agree with you as well with respect to the healthcare system. If our ministers are all flying out to Cuba and the United States to get their special treatment because they can afford it, then it means that they know that our healthcare system is crappy. And that's why they don't partake in it. And even when they go to our public healthcare system, they would get preferential treatment because everybody knows that they're a politician. I would love to see a politician go there, register, sit down in the waiting room and said, I'm not moving, I'm waiting just like everybody else because I want to see what the average citizen goes through. And let all the people that were there before him go forward and then see. Then you'll see what the waiting time is like. Pay them not good, but UNC is a waste of time. Again, it seems to be the general consensus that everybody agrees that the government is doing a terrible job, but the alternative may not be such a great idea. So people are caught between a rock and a hard place. At the end of the day, whatever you choose and whatever you support, don't fall for the political oratory. These are the people that you want to hear the real ideas and where they're going to take the country, and you want to hold them accountable as well, regardless of whoever you choose. It doesn't matter. We seem to think that once we put them in power, they disappear and all is well for the next 5 years. And that's not how it works. For the first, I was looking back, right? At the last probably maybe 4 or 5 successive government elections. And almost every government that went into power, they literally disappear like off the face of the earth for the first 2 to 3 years. You don't hear them, you don't see them, they don't interact with the public. And that's it. And the next time you see them is next 2 to 3 years. And these people give any other successive political party that's coming up, they give them a bad name. Because then people associate all politicians with the same bad name. And the truth is, there are upcoming politicians and upcoming parties that really do want to change the country. And they won't be given a fair chance because people put them in the same boat. I want to see NTA and TEP do a national debate. I think that's a great idea. I will actually volunteer for that. Maybe you could link it up. A dragon word. But a debate is not supposed to be something that's bad. A debate is supposed to be something that's good. In other words, when you finish a debate, you're supposed to generate more ideas and you're really pushing another party to do better. The debates that I'm talking about is not so much a debate with 2 parties. I'm talking about, for example, let's say you have an electoral district of Cuba North, and there are 4 political parties that are trying to win over Cuba North. I think as citizens in Trinidad and Tobago, we should make it mandatory for every single electoral district. All the parties that are running there, their candidate should go on a platform, just like they do in the United States, and they should have a debate and they should be given topics. And we want to hear, well, candidate A, what is your plans for, the roads in Trinidad and Tobago? How are you planning to deal with the roads in Trinidad and Tobago? Candidate B, tell us about crime. Crime is out of control. If we vote you in our electoral district, how are you going to deal with the crime? Education, we only have 2 schools. Candidate C, tell us about the education and what you plan to do for them. And there should be questions like that. That's how debate is supposed to go. And They are given a certain amount of time to speak in a debate, and then they're given 1 minute. The other three candidates are given time to review the statement. So if the candidate says, well, I'm going to build 20 more schools, right? You don't just get away with saying I'm going to be building 20 more schools. The other candidates can now ask that candidate, well, okay, where you plan to get this money from? So, they just can't full ahead of nonsense. A real healthy debate. That's what we need. Trinidadians need to stand up and reclaim proprietary, start to know where Trinidad is heading. Yeah. I still can't bring my gun into Trinidad. They told me it will be confiscated. They have men that they have so many things that they can't bring in Trinidad. I saw somebody posted up something on Facebook today, right? And he was like, he tried to bring in sex toys from somewhere to back to Trinidad and they wanted to seize it. But yeah, I mean, you can't bring a bow and arrow. You can't bring a gun, even though it's a legal gun and you have the rights to it and you have all the proper paperwork. So it's kind of crazy. I mean, we are so backward in that sense that, our one thing is to seize it and just get rid of it. Totally crazy. We need Philip team and Gary team to have a debate. I actually think both teams are really good. And I think both teams, in addition to the current government opposition, they will do amazing work for the country, and the country will get to see on a platform what really goes on in the minds of politicians. I think if somebody could set up a debate where all candidates from all parties run it for that electoral district, that would really do the country good. And we will set a whole new standard for politics in Trinidad and Tobago. People say they're not into politics, but politics have become part of life. Everything is politics. Absolutely right. I'll give you a story, right? So I was one of those people that you just described here. I hated politics. I hate politicians with a passion. Nothing to say, I've never really met a politician in the past that said anything that really stood out to me and made me say, well, okay, I like this guy. I hate him with a passion. What made me get into politics, though, was a couple of years ago, probably about 5 or 10 years ago. I'm sitting there and thinking, well, I'm not doing too bad in life. I'm doing okay, I could get by and pay bills and whatnot. But I'm thinking, and then when I had kids, it really dawned on me that when I leave, that they have to fend for themselves. And it's only then that I took it up on myself to say, well, this can't work for much longer. The fight that I'm fighting right now is not a fruit that I will be able to eat. I'm fighting for my future generation and future generations of other people in Trinidad and Tobago. What is your opinion on the A&R Robertson expansion and all the issue? I think there's room for expansion for the A&R Robertson Airport. I just don't think that now is the time to expand it. All right. I know Piaco has gotten some really good reviews over the last couple of years of it being one of the premier airports and whatnot, and that's all fine and great. But our economy right now is real crap. We have more bigger issues like crime and job security and stuff to worry about. They have quoted numbers like the unemployment rate in Trinidad and Tobago is about 5 to 6%. That's the numbers that the government quoted. It's more like about 25%, 20 to 25%. Literally, 1 in every 4 people I know looking for a job. But again, it's if they do the survey, they have the ability to change that however they want. They could interview. They could go in a store, right? And obviously everybody in the store is working and employees and interview all of those people, and they could say the employment rate in Trinidad is 100%. Everybody's employed. But that doesn't mean it's correct. That means that the way they do it was skewed. And that's how they make themselves look good. They also need to do a good job market search. And that's exactly the point I was raising before, that we have a bottleneck now where a lot of people in Trinidad and Tobago have degrees and can't find jobs. And that was because of poor successive planning. They knew at the point in time that they opened gate that a lot of people were going to come out having degrees, but they never did a job search or a survey of population job centers to see what kind of jobs are required. Now, I'll give you an example, right? Let's say we have a course that teaches you plumbing in Trinidad and Tobago. And you have 100 plumbers right now in Trinidad and Tobago and all are employed. And there's still room for more because, they do a survey. Then sure, you go ahead and you push out plumbers. But if there's a saturation of plumbers, why open 10 more plumbing schools or open 10 more courses in the UAE where people do plumbers? Because in 3 years now, we'll have 10 times that amount. So it was really a lack of successive planning on their behalf. so far, IQOR Trinidad is the only company that's hiring every 3 months. Yeah. Good evening, Suzette. How are you? I support that too. Somebody said they support Gary and Philip. Anyone else than the PNM or UNC? That's how I felt. I thought about when I was thinking about joining the politics, I was like, okay, well, let's weigh the options, right? So you have option A, which is the current government. And I was like, well, no way I join. And the reason I want to get in politics is to get them out, right? And I think, okay, well, option B was to join, some other party. I'm thinking, well, if they were in power at some point in time and they had the power to change things, why didn't they change it? And then it dawned on me that, that neither of those two were good options for me. And I said, you know what? I'll wait till the opportunity comes along, and it did. And that's how I got into joining the NTA. The rule of law stands. That's what Gigi proved, regardless of rank and or status in society. I think so too. I think that time when he basically did the drug bust in Port of Spain, I think that was a huge thing for the rest of the country. It really set a standard that no matter you could be the stepdaughter of a minister, it didn't matter, you were going down once you did the wrong thing. I think that is what opened up my eyes to realize that finally that there was somebody in Trinidad and Tobago who was doing the correct thing. That really stood out to me. What are your thoughts on privatization of our hospitals? That is actually a point that I was discussing with somebody earlier on with respect to privatizing the hospitals, right? I think we should privatize the hospitals, but not for our citizens. Anybody who comes from abroad belongs to any other country. These are the people that should be paying to have our service in our hospitals, but not for our citizens. Our citizens cannot afford private hospitalization. Even if you make it really low, there are people in Trinidad and Tobago that are barely surviving. And I tell you, take this example, right? The next time you go to a bank, let's say you go to a bank, particularly if you go like to the end of the month, there's always paper on the floor. Now, I'm not saying pick up the people paper and read it, right? But just glimpse down and look at the accounts and the balances while you're doing the transaction, of course. And you will notice that there are a lot of people whose accounts have $0. They are literally living paycheck to paycheck. And some people, when they get that paycheck, is to repay what they borrowed last month. Things are bad in Trinidad and Tobago. Politics, like religion, like what people do or don't, is all based on belief. True. But the reality is that you'll have to form a coalition government. Well, I'm not so sure about that, but I guess that is a personal belief. But we have policies in place that allows those platforms for each political party to participate. And yes, exactly. This doesn't even have to be a political debate that happens on national television. Well, it has to happen on national television, but it doesn't have to be in an open environment. It doesn't have to be in the middle of policy. This could be done online. 4 candidates or 3 candidates or 10 candidates or whoever running for that electoral district could do this from Zoom and have the question answered. I mean, they have debates in the US, right? And they have wrong 1 debates, wrong 2 debates, wrong 3 debates. It's not just one debate and you go on your way. It's successive debates. And every time they debate, the people of Trinidad and Tobago get to see exactly what they get in. And they might like you for one debate and dislike you for another. But the truth is, when you put a candidate there, you put in a whole candidate. So you have to see him for the things you like and don't like about him. And the only real way to find out what these people have to offer the country is to really put them on the platform and have them debate. It's no longer about being the friend of a prime minister or the family of a prime minister or a financier. You have to be intelligent at the same time. I just saw somebody got a promotion today in the Ministry of Works, I think it was. Yeah. I mean, we don't know what he has to offer, but we'd love to know how they came up with that selection. We are too politically and racially divided. Absolutely. only because it's rowdy politics is part of life. Good night from Guyana, Mike. Nice to see you all. I mean, you all are leading the way in Guyana, from oil to your president, and you have people in Trinidad and Tobago jealous. I'm beginning to think it's chicken curry is the way to go. I might have to jump ship and say I no longer supported curry chicken. The way things going with that. Please, when you have time, educate us on this new digital currency. Or you guys just missed it, Suzette. We were talking about it earlier. We talked about it in the last live as well. But I'll be doing this live weekly. So I'm planning to do it on a Friday at 7 p.m. weekly. So you guys can look out for it. Any topics you all want to discuss, feel free to let me know up front or even live on the platform and we'll discuss it. Because I'm very well rounded. How can I join the NTA? This is from Sean Maraj. Just send me a message with the name and number and I'll send you the information. Or you can join it on the website. We have a website, it's ttnta.com. And there's a link there you can click join, and we get access to all the people who submit their information. We send you a confirmation, and all future updates and information will come through directly to you. Yeah. Good job. We need younger people. I totally agree. And I think we should have younger people in all political parties. It's no longer about just one people being the young people party and the other people being the old people party or whatever. If the young people want to change things in Trinidad and Tobago, they have to get involved. The older people have discouraged the younger people from getting into politics because they want to hold the position for as long as possible. I mean, how could we have a prime minister that's 70 plus years and also opposition leader that's 70 plus years and expect these people, with all the respect, they have done their time and they did good things and whatnot, right? But with all the respect, how can you expect them to know what's going on with a person who is searching for a job at the age of 18 and coming out of school? They have no idea what is job security. They have had that job in politics for the dawn of time. Since they got in 20 years ago, they've had the same job. They don't know what the young people is going through. And $85 for 20 minutes. I'm not sure what that is. I wish I had enough money to promote you and your views on a new TNT. How can we work towards that? Well, don't worry. I think the message, once you have the right message, it will get promoted no matter what. I want to say thanks to you guys because of you guys, I have been able to have a platform where I can now speak to a lot of people. I can share my views, and I'm always grateful for you guys sharing my videos. I tend to stay away from the whole bickering in politics and talking about this one bad and talking. It doesn't do nothing for me, or it doesn't do anything for me, right? And I'm hoping that you guys feel the same way as well. That it's time that we deal with the real issues and just get the message out there that we want change. It doesn't matter who we get there. As long as we get change, that's all we want. I think that Gary Griffith is the most ideal person to deal with straighten out the country. Yeah, and that is exactly why I believe that they have pushed him out of that situation because he was dealing with the issues so much that it didn't matter whether you're a minister, minister's stepdaughter, everybody, once you did wrong, you will go down. Just like Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana have its issues, but they are settled easily because of the people. Right now, Guyana is tenfold. The entire world is looking at Guyana right now. Prior to maybe a year ago or 2 years ago, Guyana was, middle level. But now the entire world has their eyes on Guyana. We've had the the Prince Sheikh of the Emirates. I'm not sure which one. I think it was Dubai. Fly his personal plane to come to Guyana a couple months ago, about 4 to 5 months ago. I mean, if you could get the Sheikh in your country, things are good. It means that the rest of the world has their eyes on you. I wish we could say the same in Trinidad and Tobago. We've had oil and gas for what, 40 years now? And we have absolutely nothing to show for it in Trinidad and Tobago. The people in Guyana hold government to a high standard. And if they waver, they get rid of them. And I wish that is how it would be in Trinidad and Tobago, to have that level of accountability. We love you a lot. You're very professional in the way how you handle dealing with people. Thank you. What surprises me is the fact that your Minister of National Security is still in office. Imagine that, right, guys? We have somebody from Guyana here asking why our Minister of National Security is still in office. Boy, I think you all have probably a better understanding of what's going on than our people in Trinidad today who are not seeing, you know, what's really happening. You know what's interesting though? Imagine the people that vote for this man in his constituency. Imagine how they feeling right now. Imagine that. Imagine he was your person that you elected. And how would you be feeling about this man right now? And the sad thing about it, a lot of them will probably still vote him back. They'll probably not like what he's doing and still vote him back. And that's the whole situation that we have with partition politics. People vote what their grandfathers and father would have voted. Gary Griffith said that he had enough info to bring Rowley and to his knees. Well, I hope that is true. I hope that's true. And maybe we'll find out in due time. We'll have young people that were groomed by old people, example, political youth groups. Yeah, that's a big deal. Because you see, when a young person gets into politics, they look at the older heads as an example. And they would say, okay, well, if this is what this person's doing, maybe that's what I have to do to get into that position. And the bad habits are really ingrained into them at a very young level. I was watching one of the youth groups, and I wouldn't call it name, but it was a political party, right? And one of the youth groups, and a youth group, right? And they are talking about all kind of racial slurs. And I'm saying that these guys are now coming into politics. These guys can be maybe 20, 25, between the ages of 20 and 25, and they are already, the way they're speaking on a political oratory is like they're being groomed to already say up front that, a bunch of racist things. I'm saying these people are crazy. You can't have young people get into politics and speaking that way. The older heads, you just ignore them. That's all they know how to do. But not the young people in any party, doesn't matter. Can't have them, we have to hold them at a higher level. You can't have them saying that kind of nonsense. Target is good, but we can't do it alone. We need help from foreign help, otherwise we will collapse. Yeah, I mean they've tried to bring in a lot of people from abroad, but that didn't work out too well. The reason I think that didn't work out too well was because our foreign person coming to Trinidad and Tobago, they don't really have the workings or the know-how of what goes on in Trinidad and Tobago. All people in Trinidad and Tobago are some real smart men and smart women. They will pull a wool over their eyes like there's no tomorrow. So it really has to be somebody that grew up in Trinidad and Tobago that knows what's going on and has the willingness to want to change it. Currently, not the situation in Trinidad and Tobago. Are there channels that the people can take to remove a prime minister? Yeah, it's called voting, and it comes around once every 5 years. We have that opportunity, but for some reason, we keep screwing it up. But elections are merely 2 years away, and I am of 100% belief that the elections, we will not see this government back in power for a long, long time. If this government gets in back into power, let's say by some small, minute possibility, then the people will have to do this for the next 5 years. And the way things are going right now, I can't see that happen. Nobody wants to be put in that situation. Imagine they raise gas 7 times. They raise the tax, they bring in taxes, they're raising water rates, they're raising electricity. The problem with water in Trinidad and Tobago and Wassa. Imagine the minister of works coming on the air and he says, well, we know about this racket. We know that they have been purposefully, staff from us has been purposefully turning off certain valves so that they can run a racket and get people to deliver water at a cost. And they're getting away with the racket. He's saying all this, right? He's saying that they're getting away with the racket because they're not charging for the water, they're charging for the delivery because it's against the law to charge for water in that capacity. He knows about this. It's been happening for the last 20 something years, and he has done absolutely nothing about it. And he still hasn't done anything about it. He stated it, but he hasn't done anything about it. It's sad. The guys that try to tell you guys, I'm not sure. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You mean the Minister of National Security is literally telling you that he don't give a crap about the people? Yeah, I mean, there's only so many ways you can say it, and he has said it, and he has found new ways of saying that he doesn't care about people. But Our concern right now is that we can't remove him. That he is put there by the minister of the prime minister, but we can remove the prime minister, who will remove him. And I think that's exactly what is going to happen in Trinidad and Tobago. Imagine this, guys. We have somebody from Guyana that's telling us how crappy our country is. I totally agree with them tenfold. Because they are looking from the outside. They have a very unbiased opinion. So somebody can't say, well, them is this party and them is that party. We have an unbiased person here telling us this man is doing nonsense from a global perspective. I doubt he will. Just using what he knows for political mileage. Yeah. Imagine he's saying that it's not his responsibility to deal with crime. What would happen if the Minister of National Security says that in Guyana, that it's not his responsibility to deal with crime? And just for the record, right, I'm not sure how much I only posted that video like an hour before I came on here, right? But in the video, I went to the Ministry of Trinidad and Tobago National Security website. And the very first thing that pop up is, it's something to do with crime. I'm looking at the mandates. And the very first thing that pop up is crime and public safety. And his very next statement, the Minister of National Security said that public safety is not his concern. Maybe he didn't really fine print it. What was the job spec? I think that's really there. We are a unique group of people. Yeah, I think our culture plays a huge part in that. I mean, our culture is to laugh and joke about everything, but at the end of the day, it's the real issues that we have in front of us. Our country is now sixth in the world with respect to crime. And how much more that people could take. And it's going to negatively affect our country no matter who's coming in. Trust me, the PNM will win again because because the other parties are not structured or organized. So, boy, I hope your wisdom manifests. Do you think the system is rigged for governments to win? I strongly believe that that is the situation. There's no way that this current group of people could have won a second term in office. It's just not possible. I mean, people will blame racism, I think, but I don't believe that there's no amount of racism could account for this political party with the amount of nonsense that they did for winning a second term. It's just not possible. It has to be some kind of rigged election or something. I've never met one person yet in the last 5 years that openly said that they voted for them. And I travel all around the country doing all their things. Kendall, how are you, man? Long time. Yeah. So then it could be rigged again. Yeah. So I think it was Marcus Aurelius. He was saying that I think they were developing an application to help with the voting process in Trinidad and Tobago. When you do it manually, right, you have all these boxes of ballots and papers going to point A and point B, and they have all kind of checkpoints and whatnot. But if you have people that pretend to be unbiased and on a day they're willing to switch sides, all kind of craziness could happen. I have not been part of the process, so I don't know the exact details, but it has to be something like that. And I strongly believe that there's some amount of rigging taking place because it's simply just not possible for this to happen. No, how could you have a government in power, right? And not one person that I have encountered, and a lot of people have encountered, have voted for them, who openly said that they voted for them. No, people could not tell you the truth, right? But not everybody, man. I mean, they can't win if nobody votes for them. Something's wrong there, right? Well, we're ranking together with Afghanistan and Colombia. You're absolutely right. And we are 76th in the world when it comes to corruption. 76. That's out of 197 countries. So, yeah, we're not doing too well with corruption either. Addition to crime. Biometric voting would definitely be the way to go. Put some thumbprints on it. A great idea, actually. Have those ballot boxes more than 24/7 via live stream and internet do elections. That's a great idea. Yeah. I'd be surprised if somebody tried to hack in the stream and stream something else. Well, it's a good idea though. I think all the ballot boxes should remain where they are and they should be counted, when it's done. I think the problem comes when they start to move these ballot boxes, that all craziness happens. This is coming from Malu. Do you think we will join the BRICS nations? I don't think so. With the central bank digital currency that's currently happening, it ensures that we will remain loyal to the US dollar. Whether we want to or not, it's probably not going to happen. As long as the US goes 100% on with the digital currency, which they are, it's going to be launched. It's launched on the 1st of March, and it's going to go full scale on the 1st of June, meaning that everybody will get their salaries now through FedNow. FedNow is the name of it, and you guys can check it out. So once they go on board with that, it means that it will now trickle down to those nations like us. Don't be surprised if this is going to happen in the 1st of June. Don't be surprised if a couple of months later, by August, that our government is pushing for that. But I'll tell you something, I am one of the people that is passionately against it, and I will definitely be leading the the reform against it if that happens. We are not going to be accepting that in Trinidad and Tobago. There are a lot of people, older people that don't know about it, and it may not appeal to them because they don't know what they're going to lose. But every time you spend money, people, they are going to know exactly where you spent it. Good night. What's your view on what Johnny Abraham said? I don't know. Maybe you could be a little bit more specific. I don't know exactly what statement you're referring to. XRP is a good investment, but not at this point in time. Maybe from next year, probably like about November or so. Yeah, it might be a good time to invest in cryptocurrency. How long been shooting?
It's going to take about 1 hour 42 minutes.
Senior citizens have not even grasped online banking, but the government wants to go digital. They don't care. They don't care. And they will make it in such a way, how they give a food card and they will pay the salaries. And if they wanted to adopt it, which they will be adopting it, they could do it very easily. All government workers, they just make them get paid in digital currency. And that accounts for a large portion of the population. And if they have to get their money paid in digital currency, it means that they have to spend it somewhere. It means that other institutions will now be forced to adopt digital currency to receive digital currency if they want to remain in business. So they can do it if they wanted to, without caring about what other people think. But I'm telling you, I will be one of the people at the forefront pushing against that if they're going to be trying to adopt that in Trinidad and Tobago. You want to do something on behalf of the people, and you want to show that you want to the people in Trinidad and Tobago to go digital, no problem. We'll have a partial hybrid system. We'll have both digital and we'll have cash. And at no point will be converted to a total cashless society. And the ease of doing business is very difficult in this country. It is foreign investments. What is a good investment? I was letting someone buy crypto and transfer. Yeah, I mean, if it comes up cheap to you when you do the conversion, if you're making a profit, anything is a good investment. Trinidadians need to come together and protect your future. Once digital currency kicks in, that's it for you. And that's a good point. Because is that the same situation in Guyana? Is Guyana being forced, just like Trinidad? This comment is from Mike, right? Is that the same situation in Guyana where Guyana is being forced to adopt central bank digital currency as well? Because I know that they're pushing this in Jamaica, they're pushing this in Barbados, and will definitely Trinidad and Tobago. I do think that if it's going to be adopted in the Caribbean, we will be very last. I don't think our people will take this too well. My dad is very scared about online banking. I try to explain to him, and he still don't understand. Is Binance a good platform. Yeah, I use Binance. I think it's my favorite platform because of the customer service. I've used crypto.com and their, their platform is okay and it's good, but if you have any problems, there's nobody that's going to help you. And look, the real crypto man is joining there, Umesh. So this guy who just come in there, if you guys want to find out a lot about cryptocurrency, this man has a lot of stuff. Now I know a lot of stuff, but he also knows stuff that I may not know, and vice versa. So it's always good to network with him as well. How do doubles people will do their business? Well, that's a good question. And it will be same way that everybody else does their business. You'll have a watch or a phone with an app, and when time to pay for your doubles, just scan it. Umesh, would you like to come on for a couple of minutes? Let me see if I can get him on. All right, let's see if we can get Umesh on for a few minutes. Maybe he might say what's good. Umesh, how are you, man? So Umesh and I we have had a lot of conversations about cryptocurrency. And I think you might be the better one. I deal with a lot of cryptocurrency, but you deal with it from a different aspect. So maybe you could share with them a little bit of information, considering some of the stuff you do. Somebody was asking.
Well, basically, what I do, um, how should I put it? I try to make content based on how affordable crypto investing can be. As
Right.
little as, well, I started a challenge last year, so I think it was in June or July, where I posted a video about dollar cost averaging, specifically blind dollar cost averaging.
Right.
And I set out a personal challenge to myself to show people, hey, this is so easy that I'm gonna invest into Bitcoin every weekend, no matter what the price is,
Yeah.
for only $11 per week. And it's just showing people how affordable it could be. And anyone who tells you that you need at least $100, I mean, they want something out of it. So this is something that anyone can do with any little that you have. And of course, this is not financial advice, but I always say only risk how much you are willing to lose
Yeah.
in
So
any market.
let me just tell them what dollar cost averaging is, right? So if you wanted to buy cryptocurrency, right, and cryptocurrency was at let's say $30,000 US, and you wanted to buy $30,000 worth of uh, crypto, right? It means that you will pay $30,000 US. But there's a theory or a way of investing. Instead of investing $30,000 in one shot and buying it, and tomorrow it could go down to 20, the best way to do it is averaging, meaning that you break up your $30,000 into let's say $1,000 pieces, and you invest routinely every week or every day. Invest $1,000 and you buy it at regardless of whichever price. And the studies have shown that the average cost have worked out to be much better than the price that you buy it at. And that is what he means by dollar cost averaging. Yeah, but go ahead,
Yes,
go ahead, Abhishek.
that is well said. That is well
Yeah.
said. So apart from that, what I do also is um, I don't really trade to say to buy low, sell high, and make
Yeah, well,
money
that's what I
later.
say. I do more trading than you. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
But you do more of the teaching and stuff. So maybe you could tell them about what you do. Yeah.
more in terms of the technical aspect, actually, in more with the technology side of it as well.
Yeah.
Because what people do not know is that cryptocurrency is just a representation on the market in terms of blockchain technology. So, for example, a famous project like Solana. Solana is actually a blockchain technology, but people would say they are going to buy Solana or sell Solana, which is actually Sol, which is the cryptocurrency that represents a blockchain called Solana. And there's many other cryptocurrency and blockchain technology like that. Um, what I try to do also is try to break down these, like how the project works in such a simple manner that where anybody could just come and learn and understand simple, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that's what I'm
So
about.
yeah. So I don't know if you've ever used crypto trading bots.
Yes, I used it on Binance.
Yeah.
Um, it it was profitable to a certain point, but then as soon as the market make a volatile reverse, it
Yeah.
all went down.
Yeah.
So the main thing I could say from that is always take profits.
Yeah. Where did you design your bots? Or where did you get them designed?
um on exchanges,
Oh, you
they
mean
have
oh, you use the exchange bots? Oh,
yeah,
I don't
and
like that. I
you
have tried
know
those exchange bots and long term they are terrible. So I have designed a couple of cryptocurrency trading bots, right? And I designed them on Tree Commerce. Tree Commerce is a website that you could go to, you sign up, you pay a subscription, right? I
yeah,
think it costs like about $500 US
okay,
for the subscription, right? But when you pay that subscription, it's an annual fee, and you get access to all the they show you all the people who are on Tree Commerce. They show you their crypto trading bots
they did
that they have built, and you can actually
okay,
choose one of their bots that they built pre-selected, and you literally just enter your information to it, and they will trade for you. Just it'll mirror their trades, in other words. So you don't
okay,
have to
got
do
like
anything.
copy traded,
Correct. Yeah, they do copy trading, and it works really well because they show you their projected profits. They show you how much they made, how much they lost. They show you the transactions over the last couple of months, whether they want to see transactions, last 6 months transactions, and that's good. And they have different types of trading bots. So, for example, one trading bot will buy when it's low and sell when it's high, and the other one will borrow high and replace low. So you trade
yeah,
when it's going up, you trade when it's coming down, and you make money either way. I did that for a period of time, and they do micro trading, right? So when the bots actually trade, they use they use not it's like how you would buy and you'd wait for something to go up by a certain amount, like let's say $10 or
right,
$15 or
spot trade,
whatever.
yeah, yeah,
They work on percentage. So they work on fluctuation. So average fluctuation, for example, would be if the market shifts like 1.5% up, if it shifts 1% up, half a percent up, a real small amount.
yeah,
But they do real frequent trades because they do like almost 30 trades every hour, like literally one in every 2 minutes, and
okay,
they do multiple trades. For example, I had an account where I think it was about 1,000 US in it, right? And they did micro trades, and in a matter of no time, that account it just spiraled. But you have to be
but
monitoring the market as well, because right now we are in a bear market. So to
yeah,
invest when the market is going up long term and just go to sleep will not be a good idea. If you have to choose a bot now, I would probably say you go with a bot that's trading in a reverse direction.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. What are your predictions for crypto? I see, what's it? Bitcoin is about $30,000 right now.
yeah, just over 30.
Yeah,
Well,
what do you
again,
think?
I know we in the bear market. This is just like a small little relief rally,
Exactly,
or
guys. I hope you
of
listen to this guy. This is exactly my prediction as well. But go ahead.
some might say. But from history, right, we could see that Bitcoin has gone down in a bear market 89 to 90%. Actually, 84 to 90%.
Yeah,
And if
90.
you would take that same thing from all time highs, which was 69 point something thousand, it
Right.
would give you roughly 11K to
Yeah,
10K as a bottom, right?
totally
Now,
agree.
this could be wrong too, eh? This could be
Yeah,
wrong. But just based on past price action, that is what would prefer, that would be a preferable
yeah.
bottom.
So when we had the first big dip, right, from like about 69, I think we went down to like about 45. If
Yeah,
you draw the trend line, just connecting those two dots alone, and
yeah,
it usually goes down for about three cycles, up and down. We are still in the down cycle. We having a mini pump up to 30,000, but it's going to
yeah,
take you all the way down to about 10,000 US. So
yeah,
my prediction is anywhere from about 10 to 12,000 US for one Bitcoin. At that point in time is when you'll probably consider buying. Well, that's my prediction. That's when I plan to
yeah.
buy. But this is not. This is
And
just my
if you look,
personal financial advice. It's not for
yeah,
anybody else, right?
and this little relief we have in here, right? If you look at the charts, I'm not sure how good you are with the chart, but
But I do
have
trade in
some
a
sort of
real large scale, so yeah,
I have some sort of basic understanding, right?
yeah,
If you look at the volume, there isn't any volume to show what's pushing up this price so high.
correct. Yeah, I
So
totally agree. So I use the candlesticks. I use like about five different indicators. I use
yeah,
the money flow indicator. I use what's it again, boy? Um, I'm ready for a while, but yeah, I use about five different indicators. But one of them is like they have lead time and lag time indicators. And I
yeah,
think the money flow is probably the same one that I match together with the volume. And I look at the trading volume, right? So sometimes you might see the price in crypto drop suddenly. And if you don't match to the volume, it will just be a fake pump. In other words, if you bet on it going down, it'll reverse direction. So I look
yeah,
at the volume. I know people who trade based on volume alone. They don't watch any other indicators. They just use trading volume alone. And it's one little candlestick, and
yeah.
that's it. We trade based on volume.
There's a girl I follow. I think she's from Australia.
Trade travel chill, right?
Yes,
See,
much.
as you guys. So you guys, you getting good advice here, man. This is advice people
Holy
stay for.
shit.
So I have been in a
Use
paid
heat map.
Discord groups. I have been trading with her. I traded with her almost about 4 years, 3 years in a row,
Okay.
three
Now
consecutive
I
years.
only saw her videos, but
She's really good. She's really good. So
phenomenal.
she does a lot of one-on-one live trades. She shows you how to trade. There are a lot of videos in the paid Discord channel, and they will show you how to start up from scratch. And everything that she
Yeah.
does, you can mirror it in Trinidad and Tobago. There are no restrictions. So for
Okay.
anybody who want to do it, I would strongly advise. Sorry, I don't want to advise anybody. Or they can listen and do what they want to right? But this is what I did. Right? That is how I got into it. And yeah, she's
Yeah.
really good. But she trades in a different. She trades using I forget what's the name of the
Heat
exchange.
maps.
Yes, heat maps is
Yeah.
another one I use. So I used to pay for heat map, right? But heat map used to be about $40 US a month or something, or $50 a month. But when I joined her paid Discord group, they actually
Yeah.
provide heat maps every 6 hours or every 4 hours, and the heat maps will tell you when the market is getting hot, and that will be a
Yeah.
good time to sell off, and tell you when the market is getting cool, a good time to buy in. So I
Okay. It's like
heat maps
a
really
green
work. I've
index.
used that. I use heat
A fair
maps.
green
I would
index.
say, yeah.
Yeah.
And the great thing about it, I mean, the heat maps they post it live, and multiple people have access to heat maps within the trading Discord groups.
Yeah.
So you can always ask if you're not seeing an updated heat map. And there was somebody trading there, 250 people when I was there that were
Yeah.
trading at any one point in time. So you can get advice from anybody else. It's a great,
Yeah.
great channel. And she gives a lot of free stuff. You don't even have to pay, join or pay Discord group. You can just look at her YouTube channel and you'll get the same
Yeah.
information. They're
Yeah.
just going to be delayed by a slight amount.
She is one of the person who I really I don't want to say look up to, but I respect the kind of content she
Yeah.
creates just for the general public.
Agreed. And she doesn't just show you winning trades. She shows you losing trades as well, which
Yeah.
is nobody else I've seen doing that. And if I got somebody could show you their losing trades followed by winning trades, it's amazing. She actually has a YouTube channel that she does a lot
Yeah.
of live trading in. Like she would do lives on there, and you would see her setting up to take a trade. You'll see her take the trade, and you'll see her profitability, and she waits for it. Like I don't have that kind of stomach. Like I would see this thing dipping, I was like, I want to bail out. But that lady
No,
should wait
because
and she
she
would
day
wait with
trades, she would
confidence.
trade more like on the 15 minutes time frame. So that's
Yeah.
why she could
So
really
she's
like,
not a scalp trader. She would be more like a swing trader. Yeah, probably
yeah.
classify her as it. I have tried both. The name of it is trade
Trade travel chill.
travel chill. Yeah.
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 I saw someone ask when someone buy crypto, I hope you don't mind me answering the question.
No, no, go ahead. Yeah, you answer. Let's see if I put
Um,
any name for somebody.
Binance, is it bought immediately? Yes, it's bought immediately if it is that our credit card was working to buy directly. However, if you buy using the Binance peer-to-peer marketplace, the person who you will be buying it from, they would have to confirm that they got the funds first and then release it to you. So how that works is through an escrow service. Only if they confirm that you have paid the money, then they would release that funds. And if anything goes wrong, um, Binance would be interfering. So, it is always a security safety kind of thing.
Yeah. I have used that. I've used the P2P to purchase cryptocurrency a long time ago, and it worked, smooth, no problems.
It worked fine, yeah. I never had any problems with it as well.
Yeah. Somebody's asking swing trading on the 15 minutes time frame. Yeah. So the two time frames that you want to use in the swing trading is 15 minutes and the 4 hour chart. The 4 hour chart will give you your general trend, and then you use your 15-minute chart after to
The
determine,
zoom in, yeah.
yeah, to what I want. But I don't use the 5 minute or the 1 minute. Because the 1 minute, I
Like
watch a
what?
guy, right? No, no, you're asking, but I
For
watch a guy
speculation.
trading, right? And start showing people how to take scalp trades on a 1 minute chart. And I'm saying, what madness is this? Like, he doesn't even have an idea of the direction. And because he's taking random trades and winning, he thinks he knows what he's doing. So I'm just
He's good,
laughing.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm convinced that he's ready to bet it all and win it all. And contrary to what a lot of people think, right? When they trade it, they don't place 100% of your fund in. They take real small trades. They take 1 to 2% of the entire account. So if the
Yeah,
account was $100, they would place like $1. Their trade would be $1 value or $2 value max, nothing more than that.
yeah.
So it's all about probability and thing. But yeah,
It depends on what leverage you're using as well, you know.
yeah, what can I? You have? Well, I guess I probably have a little bit more knowledge in that sector. I have used
Yeah.
100x leverage, and I found that was a little bit scary.
Yeah,
Because
because
I did blow a few
1%
accounts
in
in
the
that.
market
Yeah. But
up or down.
on the other hand, I used 10x leverage with Binance, and that
Yeah.
wasn't too bad. But the problem with Binance is their fees are a little bit high. Now they give you free. There's
Free
no
trading
fees
with
right
Bitcoin
now.
and
Yeah, when you trade Bitcoin in particular, there are no fees right now associated with it to withdraw and to trade and whatever. But you would have to go in a set. My problem with Binance for trading is when you go into that account, you have to switch into your trading account within Binance itself. So you have your personal account in Binance and a trading account. Within the trading account now, you have to borrow money, and every hour is like you're paying like a fee almost. So if you have a fee trade that goes into 2 days long, your fees are going to rake up. I mean, it's not much, it's
yeah.
like $1 in some US, but it's still
No,
kind
but
of
still it adds up.
yeah. I've had one
That,
trade that went on for almost about 4 days. I could and I was trading at 100x leverage, right? So I couldn't allow I had a couple like a lot of money in the account. And I couldn't allow
yeah.
it to blow, but it was dipping so much that if I exited the trade, I would have lost a lot of money. But I knew it was going to go back because I follow the Asian markets, I follow the US markets.
Yeah.
Um, I love to trade in the Asian markets, and that usually starts about 8 p.m. in the night. So I would take my first trade about maybe about 2 o'clock, and then I would go straight to sleep. And then I would wake up just
Yeah.
before 8 o'clock, because that's when the UK market and the US market starts about 9 o'clock. And
Yeah.
that's when you know it will flip cycle. So that is just my personal experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone say leverage is madness, but I'll say this in response of that, right?
Yeah,
Um, there's high leverage and there's low leverage. Obviously,
yeah,
anyone could be very risky, but it all comes down to the percentage of the account that you
yeah,
are risky,
yeah,
and it's all about probability as well. So I might have a different opinion on that. You might have a different opinion on that. You know?
yeah. Yeah, so you could use a very high leverage account, right? For example, 100x, and you could only use a very small amount of your money, and it will work out the same thing
Yeah.
as though you were doing 10x leverage and trading a much higher amount. So it's really risk versus rewards. Do you pay attention to a lot of news? So there are two things you want to pay attention to in crypto. So one of them is they have a different it's called fundamentals, which is like news. Right? There are special websites that check the monthly inflation rates in the US and UK because those are the two that really control a lot of the crashes that happen. And the other one is based on technicality. So it's fundamentals, meaning news, and technicality, meaning reading the charts. And sometimes both of them you could think by watching the charts, everything is going perfect, and then Elon Musk come out and say something bad about something, and the market goes the other direction. So you have to keep up with both news and technicals and learning how to read charts. Reading the
Yeah.
charts is not as hard as you think. I mean, you could pop up a few YouTube channels and they will show you how to read the charts. I mean,
Yeah.
nobody's perfect.
But eventually, as long as you learn to read it, you'll actually develop your own style and your own strategy to suit your trading style and so on.
Yeah, and a strategy that worked today probably wouldn't work wouldn't work
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Exactly. Yeah.
I have changed so many different strategies while trading, but I mean, it's whatever works for you. But I've
Yeah.
found, right, that the less you trade, the better. Because there was one time, right, I was trading and this thing was going up. And I was like, okay, well, let me sell out. So I sold out. But I was like, well, if I sell out, that means that it should go down now. So I started to trade down. So then I was trading down and I won. I was like, well, if it go down, it had to go back up. So I traded up. So I took like about 10 trades one after the other, and I won almost every single trade. So I was like, okay, tomorrow when I wake up, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I didn't win a single trade after that. So,
Somebody asks, how do people lose money in trading? If the value is dropping, can't you wait till it rises back to profit? Now, I'm assuming you are speaking about leveraging, right? The thing with leveraging is that if let's say you have a $10 account, but you are using 100x leverage, it means that you are borrowing money from the exchange or whatever broker that you are using to make that 100 times your money, right? So if you use that $10 in the trade, use 100x, it means you can now trade like if you have $1,000 because it's like $10 multiplied by 100, which is from the 100x. So the higher leverage you use, there's gonna be a tighter liquidation point that is gonna protect the broker or the exchange to get back their money. So even if price drops to the liquidation point, you would lose your money, but it would protect the exchange or the broker.
Yeah. Let me break that down for in a nice simple way, right? It's like you
Yeah,
want to buy a car, right? But you only have $10,000. But the car costs $100,000. Right? So you go to the bank and you say, hey, I'm giving you my $10,000, but I want to leverage my money such that I want to borrow 90 from you, so that I have $100,000 to buy the car. And the bank holds the car until you finish pay off it. That's the classic example of how I would say that leveraging works. It's
yeah,
dangerous if you don't know what you're doing, but in control hands, you could make a lot more than if you were to just trade your own cryptocurrency.
yeah, stay away from leverage. It's fine.
At least that experience
The,
was.
the thing about leverage is that you can make money while the market is going either way, up or down.
Yeah,
Otherwise, that you can just spot trade, just buy low and sell high.
yeah,
You know.
and that's what a lot of people don't know. I only found out that when I started the trade. I thought the only way to make money is when you buy low and sell high. And I did
Yeah,
that for so long. I did that for almost over 6 months before I found out that hey, you could borrow high and replace low, and you could also
yeah,
make money while the market is crashing and everybody's like in panic mode. You could be the happiest man alive. So you're
yeah.
making money up and making money down.
I learned this from I watched a movie called The Big Short. I'm not sure if you have seen it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think everybody, well,
People,
almost everybody watch that.
Yeah,
if you want to learn what's going on in the banking sector, I highly recommend watching The Big Short. It would give you an idea of what happened in 2008 with the real estate market.
Yeah. And not only that, you could after you finish watch that movie, watch Wolf of Wall Street, and you'll learn what not to do. What not to do. I mean, you'll get rich real fast, but then you'll learn what not to do. Because that man had like everybody I knew in that movie were against him at the end. And that was what I love that movie. That was one of the best movies ever. Wolf of Wall Street. And I don't really watch a lot of
And
movies.
that was real. That was all kind of thing. All
But
kind
it's
of things.
realistic, right? It's all about
Yeah.
people and the insider trading and stuff. It's like this lady, Nancy Pelosi.
Policy. Yeah.
Yeah, so she's a U.S. Congresswoman, and she basically controls a lot of decisions in Parliament to determine what happens with, for example, medication, imported
Yeah.
medication from some country, right? So if she knows a medication is going to go up in value, or they're going to start importing U.S. and the U.S. is going to be buying a lot, she will buy her stocks early, and then when it comes, her profits goes up. So a lot of people have been mirroring her trades. I don't know if you saw that online. She's known as the queen of insider trading.
Yeah, yeah. I did see real memes about
Yeah, real people don't like that woman. But there's something called the Stock Act in the United States, right? So all Congress people and anyone in Parliament has to declare any stocks that they invest in to prevent insider trading, so that the public could see. And if anybody
Right.
wants to mirror their trades, they could do it as well, because they invest based on knowledge that they get. But I mean, if
Yeah.
they wanted a workaround for that, they could have easily had a relative invest on their behalf or use somebody else's account or whatever. So I mean, this lady has done almost like 100 trades consecutively and won every one. It's something is not.
Yeah, yeah. Something was fishy.
It's not really adding up. But she's the woman controlling everything that she trading is stuff that she involved in. So really, real madness is.
Is not she is the CEO of Ark Investors or someone else? Maybe I'm mistaken.
It's Cathy Woods.
Yeah.
Cathy Woods.
Right, Cathy Woods.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, that's
Because
Cathy.
everyone wants you to market something and not focus on trading. Right? Can you focus with the trades? You realize that financial markets incentives. That's right. Yeah. Anytime you invest in anything is gonna you always risk crashing, and yes, you know it's a pre-programmed thing that somebody has to lose in order for somebody to gain. It's like playing play with. You're gambling more or less, but you're taking calculated risks. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
You're not going to invest all your money in crypto, but at the same time, you want to know that hey, you could invest in something that will possibly 10x. Where you put in $100 and you wake up with $1,000 or $100,000. I have had some success stories of my own. I invested in Shiba Inu.
Oh,
So I was one of the first people to invest in Shiba Inu, and I put in $100 US, And I went to sleep with that, and I woke up in the morning in less than 6 hours, and this thing went up by. I woke up at 3,500 US.
Did you were you able to cash out?
And this is only 100 US I put in this. Huh?
Were you able to cash out?
Yeah, yeah. At that point in time, Shiba Inu was like point
Yeah,
zero zero, like 5 zeros and like
yeah,
one
yeah,
four eight or something, whatever the
yeah.
price.
Because sometimes when coins like that go up at such a high percentage, there might not be enough liquidity to for people to cash out.
Yeah,
So
but
that's
that,
why.
so that's before they got into the exchange, before they were listed on Binance, and before they were listed on something else. So it was really a gamble. I really didn't trust it. I
Yeah,
thought it was going to crash, and I was like, it looks so good, and the white paper and everything looked so promising. All the things that they said they were going to do, the coin was having like good marketing. They were a market itself. And I was like,
yeah,
this is a do or die situation, but I can't afford to put anything more than that. This is a real gamble. And I've never really seen anything go down to zero within recent times. So I was like, well, even if it's go down to 50%, I still take him at 50 US. So I was
50
like, oh,
dollars.
okay, yeah. So I was like, that's what I gamble it. Well, I was happy. One of the happiest days I had so far.
I ain't blame you. That would be happy to me too.
Yeah, and I did something similar with crypto.com, CRO.
Yeah,
So I invested when it was 8 cents. And what happened, right? So here what this one happened. So I was trading on crypto.com, right? And they tell you that if you buy some of their coins, they will get a decrease in the trading fees. But they're locking away whatever you buy, they hold it for 3 months. So I buy this thing at 8 cents and I buy a lot, right? At 8 cents. And this
yeah.
thing went up to almost 96 cents. And it went up
What?
96 cents, yeah, one time to cash out. So for every one, I think this thing went up by a lot. So I made a lot in that trade. But I've also
You.
lost a lot.
Yeah.
But this is just some of my success stories that I enjoy telling people about.
That's really nice. But how long you been into crypto, if you don't mind me asking?
About 7 years. I've done a lot of Bitcoin mining. I've done
Yeah,
mine Ethereum, Bitcoin, all kind of thing. I've done helium mining as well. I was one of
yeah,
the first people in Trinidad to do helium mining. And yeah, those things are profitable. I've made back all of my capital doing it and some extra. And then, well, the market's not too good for mining right now. So,
yeah, yeah.
what about
Me,
you?
I'm a newbie compared to you.
Yeah, yeah. I
I got,
gotta say, I like trading. I think I have a little bit
yeah,
more experience than you, but I guess you are more qualified in some areas that I wouldn't know too much about.
yeah. I got into crypto late 2020,
Mm.
probably around November, December. So,
Yeah, when I started getting the crypto, the price of it was about $3,000 for one coin. And we've had some partners in there, right? So we started off with point one of a coin, and we started to trade. We were doing trading, and we were competing against one another. So it wasn't allowed to buy
yeah,
anymore. We had point one, and we were going to see who gets the highest at the end of a period of time. And we went up to like point eight of a Bitcoin, and then we cashed out. We thought the market was going to drop, and then we
yeah.
cashed out.
Nothing wrong with taking your profits.
Yeah,
Better you take it
yeah,
the market really just drop.
yeah. Somebody asked a question. What's your thought on Cardano?
Honestly, I never really like that. I
Neither me.
never buy that.
I don't like Cardano either.
But
I know some people swear by it,
I
right?
mean,
And Cardano had
some
gone up. When I saw Cardano for the first time, it was like 10 cents or 15 cents, and it went up to $4 and 30 something cents when Bitcoin was at 60 something dollars. And I
yeah.
think it crashed down. I'm not sure what the price of Cardano right now, but yeah. The guy who actually runs Cardano or ADA, he was actually a
Yeah,
fallout. He fallout with the guy who
with
Ethereum owner. What's his name again? Ethereum owner guy.
um
Um,
Buterin,
yeah,
Vitalik Buterin,
yeah, Vitalik. Yeah. So he
and
was actually
Charles
working for
Funchal.
Vitalik. Yeah, right. Charles is his name. It's the same guy,
Yeah,
Charles. Yeah. So he's actually owner of Cardano.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cardano is 43 cents right now.
So look at that. And this was $4 and something a couple
Yeah.
weeks ago, a couple months ago. Sorry. What do you think about the trading channel for Lunar Trade? Which I'm not sure which trading channel you're talking about, but this girl that we're talking about, that both him and I follow closely, she has a YouTube channel called Trade Channel. Chill, you can check it out. That's where I learned to trade from the very beginning.
And I could actually endorse that based on the information she let out there.
Yeah, but I'm looking at, and I have been in a paid Discord groups. I have done exactly what she did. I mirrored some of her live trades in the group, and she's good. She's really good.
Yeah.
I'm hearing that Polkadot is the new come up that will make What's your views on that?
New come up on what?
So the coin that you're investing in, right? It has to have utility. It has to mean that they are going to use the coin to do something, right? Because anybody could come up with a cryptocurrency. You could go on YouTube and in under 5 minutes, you could
Yep.
come up with a cryptocurrency of your own and market it, and you could sell it to me and sell it to him and a few other people, and the coin will have that value of that people. But at the end of the day, what you have to ask yourself, what does the coin do? Right? Because if the coin do have utility, meaning that you can't use it to pay for a bottle of water or you can't use it to do something, then you're only really going based on speculation. So Cardano is one of those things that they try to implement. Shiba Inu, a lot of business people. I actually, one of my businesses, I was actually going to put up a sign that, that I was accepting Shiba Inu. I mean, I didn't, but it really, I was so hard, like, I was so believing in that, right? That I was going to put up a sign that Shiba Inu accepted here. And you were putting it on the Shiba Inu website and they were posting it all around the world. So you're getting like free publicity as well. So
Yeah.
that's not, yeah. There's some gold pawn shops in the US that were accepting it as well. And yeah, people were making a mental for that. Like publicizing that Shiba Inu is accepted it. Boss lady invested in Quant and Polkadot. Very nice. And Cardano too. Sure, has no cryptocurrency. Wow. Hmm.
What about XRP? Hey, I have a story to share with XRP. When I first got into crypto, XRP was one of the first thing that I bought, right? And the reason I bought it is because of influencers. Now, just a quick disclaimer: anybody on the live, do not buy something just because you hear somebody talking about it, right?
Okay.
But at the time, I didn't know
Okay.
better,
But my echo.
so I bought
Driving that.
50 US dollars worth of XRP, which was around 50 cents. XRP went up to almost $2, and that was the first time I made profit from cryptocurrency when I now got into cryptocurrency. And after that, then I started to research. So I was in a little back to front moment there. I
Yeah.
do what I'm supposed to do last first.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody have the story. Everybody have the story.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't think that cryptocurrency is the way to go. But I think you really need to research it and make your own deductions as to what's best for you because what's best for what is best for you might be best for somebody else. So this is somebody who also does a little bit of cryptocurrency that he just learned it.
Hey Kevin, so yeah, I've been in the cryptocurrency business for about 5 years now. Yeah,
Nice.
started off just in stocks with interactive brokers.
Interactive brokers. Somebody was asking about that there. That is one
Yeah,
of those paid groups as well.
no, there's a large international stock exchange. So they have a few large brokers like TD Ameritrade. Interactive brokers is actually one of the only ones that you could use in Trinidad. So they actually is like the fifth largest broker in the world, and they recognize globally in about 175 countries.
But what are their fees like? Like what are their fees? Like what
Actually,
percentage of your profits they nibble on? Tell
yeah,
us the truth.
so
We want to real you.
actually it's a standard. So
Okay.
once you trade in, regardless of how much stocks you trade in, once it's less than $1 million, it's only $1 per trade US.
Wow.
So
Well, that's not too bad depending on the volume that they traded.
yeah, it depends on the volume as well too. So
And then
um,
you withdraw to your account after that.
well, I have to charge your account first. So you send US directly from your US account in Trinidad
Yeah.
with a bank, and you have to do a wire transfer. Uh, it goes to your interactive broker account, and then from that you could purchase stocks and stuff. But you have to be compliant with FATCA regulations. You need to sign up to pay taxes with the US as well.
So
So,
so then
but,
what you have to register a company or get like a social security number or something of that nature?
well, you have a TIN number, which is similar to a social security
Or
number,
it's like
but
a
it's
temporary social
yeah,
security number.
yeah, but you have to apply for it, and everything is done online through the brokerage website as well.
Well, I mean,
So
that's
it's
not
pretty
too
good.
bad. I have
Yeah,
little to no experience in that category, so I'm glad you're sharing
yeah,
your story with
I
us.
do. Sure, so I do a lot of stock trading as well as options. I did dabble in some futures as well. But
Yeah.
I think more basic stocks and options is the best. I'm a long-term trader, so I don't really do much
Somebody was
speculative
asking
trading.
earlier, right? Like, do you invest in Tesla and Amazon stocks and those kind of things? Are you allowed to do that
Yes.
using the stock exchange?
Yeah, you could. And I actually was an early investor in Tesla. I started off with just one share, and now it's like about 15 shares. So it's more multiplied over,
Wait, but
over
Tesla is like $500 a share or something?
now it's about 184. But
Okay, I know that went up to like over four something or something of that nature.
yeah.
Like, wait, you can retire, you don't need to be on this chat. Yeah.
I wish, but nah, it didn't multiply to be so much. Still
Yeah.
need to keep my job for it.
Yeah,
So
well,
yeah.
a few more stock options and shit you should get good.
Definitely, yeah, but for sure you could purchase Tesla stocks and Amazon stocks on Interactive Brokers.
Umesh,
Uh,
do you do Forex?
Nope.
there's the option to do forex on Interactive Brokers, but uh, to do forex you really need to leverage, and it takes a lot of risk. And because I'm not a person that dabbles too much in high risk investments, I try to stay with just basic stocks and long term investments. Yeah, yeah.
Umesh, somebody put a comment there, right? He said that you need to put your heads together. He called my name too, but I'm not sure about that. But he said you need to be the new guy who doing the Shark Tank in Trinidad and Tobago.
Definitely. These guys.
Taking that. That's good. I appreciate that.
Yeah, Shark Tank. That's a great idea in Trinidad and Tobago. It's a nice idea to network between the people people who have ideas, right? And
Yeah.
also people who don't have the money. So somebody might have an idea but not the money. So we can actually get together a group of people. Well, not me, but it's just an idea trying out for somebody there. A group of people who have money and looking for people to invest in ideas. It's really just about networking and getting the right sort of people together. I think that would make a great TV show in Trinidad, though, a Trinidad version of Shark Tank.
Yeah, I think Kevin could be a great Mark Cuban. You know,
I would do TikTok version. I would broadcast on TikTok for all the commentary and
actually
things.
Mark Cuban.
People don't understand
Umesh, keep
how
on.
Which,
I like to invest in some long-term investments, but don't know where to start. Now, I'm not sure if you mean like cryptocurrency or forex, because I guess this is where the topic kind of went into. But I guess Omish, if you had to give somebody advice, right, it's a the cryptocurrency, long-term investment. What do you think might be a good option?
disclaimer,
Yeah,
not financial advice.
I like that, and that goes for me as well, right?
same,
Because
same
I
here, same
know
here. Not financial
that's a
advice.
person. These are my personal
Now,
investments.
I
Just choices we made.
would say what I will do. I wouldn't say what to do. I would say what I would do.
Oh, very
For
nice.
term, I would hold Bitcoin, Ethereum, a few of the ISO 2022 tokens, as well as ICP.
ICP.
Yeah,
Yeah, I had some
those are
ICP.
my personal long-term picks, as well as Arbitrum.
What about you, Rana? What are your long-term investments for
Long-term
crypto?
investments for me. So right now I actually invested in U.S. Treasury bonds. Uh,
The fancy
it's,
stuff, boy.
yeah, well, because it's actually a very good time right now to invest in bonds.
Well, the
Uh,
U.S. Treasury ain't looking too hot these days, so I don't know
yeah.
about that.
um, as the so what they do is, as the market is low, the bonds, the yield for those bonds tend to go up.
Right.
Uh, so treasury bonds, they last year they were actually much higher though. They were around 4%.
So
Now they
if
are
we
at
have
two
if we
percent.
have a situation, right? For example, we are talking central bank digital currency, and let's say there's a crash in the market for the U.S. and U.S. dollar plummets. How is that going to affect the U.S. bonds?
In terms of the dollar plummeting, it would negatively affect the bonds.
Yeah,
But
well, right.
I,
Then now it's probably
yeah,
not the best time
but
to. Now
I
it's
guess
probably a good
the
time for the
opposite.
cash out. Yeah.
To consider the opposite. Yeah.
Yeah, because the US dollar is not looking too wholesome right now. And by extension, the Trinidad dollar is not looking too wholesome right now.
Hmm. Yeah. So what they do is even though they would reflect the bond, the yield percentage with the stock market. So if the stock market goes down, the yield for those bonds goes up. So even though the price of US might drop, well,
Yeah.
the yield is what really would change. So you will get a 4 or 5% return. And if the US market goes down globally, most other um, currencies would also go down as well.
Right.
So in the end, you kind of just have a higher percentage, but you have to look at it all different at different angles now for different perspectives,
Yeah.
and to see how each world market, like the Hong Kong exchange, the London exchange, how all of those would factor in the drop in the US currency.
Yeah. So look at the guy asks how the Chinese yen doing all of this. So like I tell you from a
Exactly.
fundamental point of view, the situation that they have with the BRICS nations and China being part of that, I can only imagine how the Chinese yen must be shooting up in value. I don't know like, the exact value, but I'm pretty sure it's up there. Got to be a risk taker to invest in forex. The most critical part is IP protection. So you said you don't do forex, Umesh?
Nah, I don't really. I mean, there's a different ball game to what I do,
Yeah,
but nah, honestly, can't,
yeah. I
can't
know
go.
you had done a book, right? A digital book concerning cryptocurrency.
Yeah,
Is that true?
ebook. Ebook
Yeah,
for those who only for those who want to get started into cryptocurrency. But I
nice.
actually did a video on it, breaking down the ebook. So it's not necessarily in the ebook, and I
Right.
put that on in the video on my profile.
Okay, nice. So you have done like this was like about 2 years ago, right? But I haven't seen any of your videos since. You have put out anything recently?
Yes, I have. I have
Okay.
my latest
You have to
video
excuse me.
is
I only really started getting on
no, no,
TikTok
that's
maybe about two
that's fine.
months ago. Apart from that, I just been like liking and following.
Yeah. My two latest videos is one with how the Bitcoin network operates in
Right.
terms of the technology part, and I uploaded one this evening based on real estate.
Oh, very nice. You're well diversified, man. So somebody
Yeah,
asked, what about buying gold and silver? I think that's a good investment now.
of course, gold and silver will
Yeah,
always be a good
you can never go
investment.
wrong with gold. It's definitely a very good long-term investment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think it's an inverse relationship, right? So, but this is just my personal interpretation of this. So it's kind of inversely proportional to the US dollar. So when the US dollar is high, the price of gold is down. I think the average price of gold right now in the exchange is about was about 1800, now it's about 20 something hundred. Because it's going up because the US value is
yeah,
basically coming
over
down.
to top.
Yeah. So now might be a good time to invest in gold, but a bad time to invest in US dollar or anything like that. But with that being said, right, anything with volatility, meaning that anything that tends to fluctuate really high or really low really quickly is probably, you know, that's where the money is to be made. The money wouldn't be made investing in something that only changes by 1%, goes up 1%, comes down 1%. So there might be an opportunity in there to invest in other things as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's it. I am Caesar. Gold and silver is the best way to go, but I think you need a license to buy. Uh, Ronan, and you were invested in gold and silver from a
Yeah,
digital
yeah,
perspective, right?
yeah, I did. And
That's
we
something
have
interesting.
so in the commodities market with interactive brokers, you're able to purchase equivalents of gold and silver. So you don't physically own it, but you have entitlement to gold and silver with equivalent to the US dollar. So you could buy like $100 in gold or whatever in terms
Okay.
of shares.
Alright, so
Yeah,
basically, in translation, yes, you could invest in digital gold, but you wouldn't physically get the gold. It means that you'll get that
right.
amount of value in digital gold that you could trade.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
whatever
definitely.
price that gold is trading at, you will basically be mirroring that type of trade as well. So if the gold goes up, your trades in gold, digital gold will go up as well by the same amount. Yeah.
So,
Well
someone
said, Kevin.
asked if you could bring gold from Guyana, just brainstorming.
there,
Yes, you can bring
there was a
Guyana.
person named Mike that he was just not commenting that he's from Ghana. There. But go ahead, sorry.
Yes, you will need a license, and just to give you an idea, gold in Trinidad is much more cheaper than Guyana.
Look, I just learned something new.
Wow.
Yeah,
And everybody's talking about how you go to Ghana and you go for
Guyana
Ghana.
is really expensive. No, it's really expensive.
That is
Cost
of
of
recent.
living. Ah,
That is something recent.
yep, yep.
Okay.
I returned from Guyana. I think was 2 weeks ago,
Oh, wow.
and I bought, just to give you an example, right? A comparison. A 2 liter soft drink. You would rather pay like $8 over here, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
about that,
would
yeah. How much is that in
pay
there?
27 TT dollars.
Wow.
Now
Yeah.
I'm using the exchange rate of 20 to 1. Reason being, if you go anywhere local, that's the rate they would give you.
Yeah.
But bank rate is actually about $28 to $30.
Yeah. Well, let me give you some conversions, right? So
Yeah.
that same Coke will cost you $40 TT in England, right?
Oh, you what?
Yeah, it's much more. And check this, right? So I went to Dubai a couple months ago, and I paid $10. Well, sorry, I paid like 100. When it converted, it's $100 TT for a beer, and a rum and
Wow.
coke is $250 TT.
Yeah.
There's no way you can afford to get, high.
Another example.
Things really high over there.
I bought 4 pound of grapes in the market, and then that came up to 200 TT dollars.
Wow.
Yeah.
I say buy prunes and try to rehydrate them.
Make some wine.
Yeah. So things real expensive. What about?
Yeah.
The only thing cheap in Ghana is clothes.
Who's?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I've actually
Real.
never been to Guyana, but I was
Yeah.
supposed to go for the Cricket World Cup, and a group of people they kind of indecisive about buying tickets, and then ticket prices went high up, and then we never ended up going. But it's definitely one of my places to go to. I have to go to Guyana.
And let's
Yeah,
go
I remember
frequent.
going to Georgetown Market about 2 years ago,
Yeah,
and clothes was way cheaper than Trinidad. Actually, filled up a suitcase and brought it back with
yeah,
clothes. Yeah.
I just go. I just go there frequent.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What is cheaper? Well, I guess both of you have been to Guyana. What is cheaper in Guyana that's more expensive in Trinidad?
I would say some foods
Yeah,
and clothes definitely. Well, opposite for the goal for sure. No? I think that's the basic things. Sugar for sure. uh, Basic
Vehicles.
commodities, things they grow in there, yeah, because the importation tax is much
Yeah.
lower. Yeah.
so somebody just asked, what is your style of trading? I guess I'll take that one. So I do. There's different types of trading. There's like scalp trading, swing trading, and those are much on the lower time frames, right? So a scalp trader will be anybody that's looking on the 5 minute time frame. And the 50, they use 5 and 15. And a swing trader uses like 15 minute time frame on the forwards. Now, when you're watching a scalp trader, then just watching for it shoot up. When one shoots and they buy and sell. So they buy real low and sell real high in one quick go. And it goes really fast. In a matter of 1 minute, you could lose or gain. I find that style of trading is very dangerous. So I use swing trading, which is you can take your time. It's a little bit more pleasant to trade in. So within that going up and down, there's a general cycle that it goes either go down or go up. You have a little bit more time to react to if something goes up or down, and it generally goes up, down a little bit, up a little bit higher, down a little bit, and that's how it goes. So I like that style of trading. Somebody wanted some info on ITIN and IBKR.
Yeah, as interactive brokers,
Yeah,
yeah. So when you sign up on interactive brokers, you have to make certain declarations to the U.S. government uh, that you will be compliant with their tax laws. They will issue you with an ITIN number once you provide the information. So you have to submit your ID card, you have to scan your ID card or driver's permit, send it to them. You fill out all the different forms, and from there they would take about a few days, maybe 5 to 7 days, and they will give you feedback via email whether you got through with creating your account. And the taxes actually comes out uh, from your account after you make a trade, or whether straight from your dividends. So if you have stocks that pay dividends, they will take the taxes out first and then pay your dividends after. So you don't really have to worry too much about the taxes. Everything is automatic.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I think he said he owed the US government some money there. So I think
Yeah.
he's in trouble.
I said automated. Everything will comes out for itself. Don't have to worry about where now.
Yeah. So generally, people use the word to swing trader to mean anything on a higher time frame other than scalp trading, right? So it's There could be anything from people trade. I know ones who people who trade that same monthly time frame, they trade daily time frame, all kind of craziness. But swing traders just generally are term for higher time frame than a scalp trader, which is a quick turnover.
Yeah.
Right? But if all government facilities fall, what does investing in crypto do? No electricity, water, Wi-Fi, fuel. That's an interesting way of looking at it. Because despite what's happening here in Trinidad and Tobago, cryptocurrency price is independent of that. So it really depends on what's happening in the States and the UK. And it may or may not be the same thing. So just like investing and putting your money in the bank or fixed deposit and hoping that you get interest, it's the same way you're taking the same risk, but it's really you're taking calculated risk. Now in the bank, and if you do a fixed deposit, you may get a very small return fee, something like 1% to 5% for if you keep it there for 5 years. But it's a lower risk, but it's also a lower reward. Some people just choose to do crypto. I do crypto as a hobby, not like an investment. I couldn't do crypto long term because I would go crazy. The market is so volatile that it goes up and goes down really quickly, and I would not be able to sleep. That's how it is. So somebody said, wait, Forex. Well, they're not serious. FPREX, dead bro. You are the exit liquidity. What is FPREX? Anybody else?
Not sure.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah.
They're all entering crypto now. Yeah. Hey, Umesh, somebody asked a question there. I saw somebody posting a credit card with crypto. I gave my views on that earlier. I think the prices that they were paying and fees would probably be too expensive to sustain. You had any sort of experience with that?
There's two reasons actually, and the two reasons why I don't promote any of those crypto cards is again how I mentioned I like to make things affordable. Right. One is because these cards, I think they're like 20 US per month to maintain or something like that.
Wow. And like
I
in
think that's
comparison, if you were to compare that to a credit card, it's like $20 a year. So
yeah. But that one I'm referring to was the GS Lifestyle. That was one of the first cards that was circulated.
yeah.
And then there's from Hyperpay, I think is 150 US to buy. Um, but the card is good, right? But my reason why I don't promote it is because I look at cryptocurrency as a form of investment. Unlike you, I know you say you don't look at it like that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if, if people are promoting cryptocurrency as an investment, why would you want to buy cryptocurrency to then put it on a card and spend it?
Yeah. I totally agree with you.
Yeah. But the card itself, it's good to have. But that's just my views on why I don't really
Yeah,
promote
I mean,
this.
if you have a couple million US, like Umesh and this next one, I mean, having a credit card with cryptocurrency with the fees, you can afford to pay that. But yeah, if it's scalping and doing string trade like me, yeah, then the card is probably not a good option.
I advise against the card as well, Kevin.
Nothing worried for that, so that monthly for it. Right. So somebody said, do you recommend any platforms for passive income?
For cryptocurrency?
Yeah, I guess so crypto. To me, I don't think the platform matters too much, because the price of crypto, for example, the price of Bitcoin on one platform is the exact same in a different platform. So,
Not
but plus or minus a few dollars. I've actually seen some small amount of price variations. Do you know that guy? You know the guy who is Friedman or Freeman or whatever his name was, the guy who was in charge of FTX.
Some, yeah.
Right, so you know that he actually found a loophole, right? Like when he was trading, and he noticed that in one website, one crypto exchange, they had a slightly lower price. So he was buying from one and selling to another using robotic trading. So he was doing it within like microseconds. And that's how he made a lot of money. But then I think he just went haywire after that.
arbitrage.
Sorry?
Arbitrage trading. I was actually gonna explain that, and then you jump.
Yeah, but that,
No, that's it. That's it. You go
yeah,
ahead.
basically, yeah.
Yeah, it's arbitrage, yeah.
Yeah, but people don't really know all the big words, so I usually breaking it down for that. Because I remember, I think one of my problems was a lot of people was using a lot of trading language, and I didn't understand what the hell these people were talking about. So I sort of had to feel my way through learning to trade and stuff like myself.
Passive income, try REITs with monthly dividends or Coca-Cola stocks. REITs is with real estate stocks.
You know anything about that, Randall?
Yeah, I actually have some REITs, but these days they're actually a little bit down. So I have some in Orc, who are Sea Island Capital, and I had some other ones. So those are real estate investment trusts. They have two different types. Um, so some are based on equity, and they have others that based directly on real estate investments from those companies. So you have to know what type of REIT you want to get into. And they pay a dividend. So the main thing with REITs is that they have certain regulations in the US that they must pay a certain amount of dividends based on the value of their of what they own in terms of the properties. So it's a good investment, but the REITs they fluctuate a lot depending on the type of REITs. So definitely you have to do a lot of research before you choose a good REIT. Look for ones that not too high with the dividends because those tend to be very high risk. Try to get somewhere in the medium or a little bit on the lower risk range. So those are triple A REITs, or you could say B. Um, they have different gradings. So those tend to be better. Then you have very high yield REITs, but much more risk. Yeah. So that's basically it for those.
Okay. Somebody said I expect the housing market to crash. So these rates are about to get cheaper.
Yeah, that's what
By the value.
So I have some right now that are not doing so great.
I'm looking at the housing market as well, right? And I think that there is going to be a crash very soon. And I mean, you can look it out from a fundamental point of view, right? So if you think about it logically and why it would crash, look at the price of houses now compared to what it was maybe 20 years ago. The price of houses have skyrocketed. At some point in time, the price of a house is going to be so high that not much people are going to want to be able, well, not much people can afford a house at that point in time. So what will happen? People will basically stop buying houses. Now, or they will slow down to a point that it creates a negative uh, economy almost. And at that point in time, there will be no need for lumber and cement and all those other commodities that goes together with that. And then that's where the peak of the crash. And I think that is approaching very soon.
Other than the housing market, I'm looking at the automotive market as well for a crash.
What you base that prediction on?
Just on how same concept as the housing market. People borrowing money that they don't have enough to pay back loans and debts and stuff like that.
Right. Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The TNT housing market. No. I mean the housing market in the States, and by extension, that kind of trickles down to everywhere else in the world. Yeah, I'm not specifically talking about the Trinidad and Tobago housing market. I mean, when I say housing market, I mean that in the US and UK on a bigger scale. But when those housing markets up there crash, as a result, the ones down here will crash as well. It'll affect everything. Once the market crashes, it'll affect the crypto market, it will affect the forex markets, it will affect the S&P 500, everything will go down. Just like one big wall. I'm still trying to understand the system car loan easy, land and home mortgage hard. All right, so you mean it's easier to take a loan for a car than to buy a piece of land and home mortgage? I I will agree with you. I think they make it easier for you to buy a car for many different reasons. I think the interest rate is a lot higher. There's less risk on the bank side, meaning that they don't have to give you a loan for 40 years and hope you pay back every single payment. So for them, it's just easier to make us profit, a larger profit in a shorter space of time than to hold you for 40 years in an agreement. But you think the valuation of property will drop then? I guess it means if the property, if the housing market crash, if the value of property will drop. If it crashes, yeah, it will drop. It will drop. It will drop all over the world.
similar to the 2008 financial crisis.
Yeah, or
Where,
the dot-com bubble is the next one.
yeah,
And, you know, if you compare it, right, the dot-com bubble that went through in 2000 is exactly, that is when websites and everything became this big thing, right? That is exactly what we're going through now with AI. AI technology now is basically creating another bubble for us to benefit from. So if you invest in the right things at this point in time, you could make a huge profit. How can someone invest in Google? I think that's for you, Rhonda.
yeah. So yeah, there's Google has well, it's run by Alphabet, and the stock ticker is GOOG, and you could purchase shares of Google on whatever online broker that you want to use. Most common one for us in Trinidad that we tend to get through with accounts is Interactive Brokers. So you could purchase shares of Google from there. Yeah, just have to transfer your US and purchase it. Simple.
Yeah. I don't know. I've always stayed away from investing in those kind of tech companies like that. Like, I don't know. It was just too difficult to do. It was, you know, nobody made it very easy to invest in. If you want to invest in crypto, you buy crypto and that's it. You're done. You know,
Yeah.
there's so much steps involved in investing in Google and Amazon and Tesla and all these kind of things. And then you have men like Elon Musk coming and saying Shiba Inu is the way to go, and then Shiba pump it up. You know, but I wish. I guess you would have known that better, right? Yeah. No, no, sorry, not Shiba. Dogecoin.
Doge, yeah. Usually they're
Yeah.
gonna
And
Doge.
yeah, they change the Twitter logo to the Dogecoin.
Yeah, and people, what's wrong? Like, I don't know, boy. It has something that just have fingertips on computers, right? So the minute he said that he made some comment about the dog or something, I think. And the minute he said that, somebody came up with a cryptocurrency within 5 minutes. And I think from it, it went up like a couple, like 10 million or something. He was raised in like 5 minutes time.
Yeah, I think his tweet was Doge to the moon,
Yeah,
and he
yeah,
had the dog flying with a rocket to the moon. So
yeah. And some men just scam somebody because they come up with this random coin.
People don't sleep, you know. People don't sleep.
yeah.
So someone asked, is the US currently restricted? US dollars currently restricted in Trinidad and Tobago? I think so. They are regulating it. They are regulating US dollars in Trinidad and Tobago heavily, but I think it will be to their detriment, right? Because if the banks are holding US dollars for the business community, for example, and they are holding this large amount of US dollars, and the US dollar crashes, which we hope that, well, not hope, we think it's going to crash. They will be in some hot water holding all that US dollars. Someone asked you a question there, brother.
Yeah. So I know. So Trinidad is very difficult to get US dollars. It's very much restricted. Uh, Difficult to go to the banks and ask. Even just for 100 US, you can't get any banks. So I'm not sure if to say this on.
Nah, if you're not sure, then we'll say it. We'll find
There are
some way
ways to get US in Trinidad and Tobago, which I shall not disclose.
Yeah, I'm talking black market business here.
Yeah.
I think the guy was asking the question below. He wanted to know where you get the US dollars to wire for the interactive brokers.
Yeah, just to wire it. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
once you acquire US dollars, whether physically or you could just get transferred to you to the bank, so you don't always have to get it physically, because when you go to the bank, they always have a problem with the actual dollar bills. Any small little thing they reject in your US. So if you were to acquire US from whoever, ask them to transfer it to you to your US bank account first, and then you wire it across to Interactive Brokers. Try to avoid the physical dollars.
I'll give you a story, right? So I have a US account. I've only had like $100 or $200, like a very small amount in it. And I went to deposit another $100 because I took a trip and I came back. And they want to see a KYC form. They want me to fill out a KYC form to say where I get this money from. So I said, well, no problem. I went to a different bank because you guys were only giving me 200 to travel to like 3 different countries. Like, oh, by the time I go in the airport, I'll probably spend all that money. So I said, well, you know, I got this from another bank. They want me to, in order to accept that $100 into my US account, they wanted me to go to the other bank and get a printout stating that I got that money from them in order for them to deposit it in my US account. and then they wonder why the country is short on forex. And yet, so you have some ministers in Trinidad and Tobago buying all kind of fancy Porsche for 1 million US. And I wonder where these men getting this kind of money from. This kind of foreign currency. So so it's kind of disturbing from that perspective. But I tell them I was going to close down my account because if I can't deposit that $100, that's just the exact value. Right? If I could deposit that
Yeah.
$100 in my account, what's the sense now? And that's my account, my money. I'm telling you, this is not like $1 million. It's $100.
Yeah, and they have these
You,
fees that they charge.
yeah, Umesh, you have problem with getting US?
I haven't I haven't tried, but I know it
So,
due
so
to kind.
where do you, I guess, how do you get your crypto? Don't you have to convert it to US and then use that to buy or something?
No, no, I buy locally here sometimes,
Okay, right, all
It's
right,
fine.
yeah. All right, guys. Well, it was nice chatting. I think we ran straight off topic today. Today was supposed to talk about, I forget. But whatever, we started talking about it and we ended up with crypto. Crypto just happens to be one of my favorite
Finance.
pet peeves, right? So, guys, we will thank you all for joining live. We'll definitely link up next week again, 7 o'clock Friday. Take care,
Thanks
guys.
for having me on the live, Kev.
Yeah, man. Take care. Umesh, see you.
Take it easy. Yeah.
I totally lost track of time.